touchdown pass in overtime.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. We got a lot to get into. We are off today at 5 o'clock. K-State won yesterday against Arizona State. We'll see if they can continue their winning ways in the Big 12 tournament. Kansas also plays later tonight in the Big 12 tournament. In fact, you can see Kansas State and Kansas on the same ticket. Yes, if you go to downtown Kansas City, Missouri today and you purchase a ticket to go to the Big 12 tournament for this evening session, you can see the Wildcats and the Jayhawks play games tonight down at the T-Mobile Center. I'm sure great times will be had downtown Kansas City, Missouri. We got a lot to get into in the show today. I appreciate you. Again, my name is Carrington Harrison. Rob is here taking you up until 5 o'clock. I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you to listen to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock. And number two, I need you to tell one friend. It would be great if you could tell two friends, but you know what? Beggars will not be choosers. I just need you to tell one friend. Before we get into very serious topics, I would like to point out that March is currently happening. Arkansas had a 47-30 lead heading into halftime. You would think, Arkansas is about to comfortably win this thing. Nope, South Carolina has outscored them 30-14 in the second half of the game. Arkansas went 10 minutes without scoring a basket. It is now 61-60. Arkansas is up 1 point. It is the 3:44 left in the second half of the game. This has disappointing John Calipari exit written all over it. Arkansas cannot afford to lose this game. They are 19-12. They're 8-10 in the SEC. They are the definition of the bubble. They are why the bubble was created. I think they will get into the NCAA tournament, but not if they lose today. They are already in their NCAA tournament, and if you lose a neutral site game to 2-19 and a team that went 2-16 in the SEC, South Carolina Gamecocks, I'm telling you right now, go ahead and get ready for the NIT. Because you are not making the NCAA tournament, so we'll continue to track that. We'll let you know what happens. But Arkansas, they find themselves in a dogfight in round one of the SEC tournament. March is certainly here. All right, Rob, this is how I would like to start today's show. We will get to the Chiefs coming up in just a little bit, but you know what? I don't want to talk about the Chiefs to kick off today's show. I'm not interested in doing that. What I would like to do is I'd like to ask you a toss-up question. What would you consider to be the start of spring in Kansas City? Is it the Big 12 tournament when it rolls into town, or is it opening day? The two happen pretty close to each other. Opening day is actually in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, you will have real living baseball down at Kauffman Stadium if you want to go and see the Royals trying to get back to the postseason as they did a season ago. Rob, what would you consider to be the start of spring in Kansas City? Is it the Big 12 tournament, or is it opening day coming up in a couple of weeks?
It's the Big 12 tournament, and it's not close. Because it feels like, and I could be wrong, I'm not Brian Busby. I'm not a weatherman. It feels like every time the Big 12 tournament hits Kansas City, what I'm looking out outside is the weather in Kansas City. It's like in between 59 and 79, sunshine, Grand Street is packed to the gills with Iowa State fans and also some other people. Downtown closes down. You can't go to a bar anywhere downtown. You live down there, there's Power and Light, outside Power and Light, Crossroads, River Market. It is packed to the gills with basketball fans. It is a fever pitch of basketball in Kansas City. The weather turns, daylight savings has happened. I think in Kansas City, the sign that spring has sprung is the Big 12 tournament tipping off down at T-Mobile Center.
I'm going to agree with you for this reason. I think it is the first time that you plan for outdoor activities. You have to think about what the next 4 or 5 days look like in Kansas City. You got the Big 12 tournament rolling into town, and it's also St. Patrick's Day weekend. So you're going to be outside, you're going to be drinking, the weather is going to hold up. It's 70 degrees today. It's going to be, 57, 60 degrees coming up this weekend. It does feel like spring is in the air. But I don't know, man. There's something special about opening day. Baseball games, for the most part, feel the same. There's just such an inventory. You got 162 of them, and you got 81 home games. But there's something magical about that first one. Going out there, seeing the grass, getting a beer, having a hot dog, hearing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." It is the hope. It is the optimism. Easter is right around the corner. There is something very special about opening day. This is a very fun stretch, I think, for most cities, especially in Kansas City. There is not many cities in the country, maybe there is not one, that does a conference basketball tournament better than what Kansas City does with the Big 12 tournament. Opening day is right around the corner. Free agency is hitting in the National Football League. There's a lot of cool things happening right now in the sports world. Let me ask you this second question in the open, Rob. What are your expectations for KU this weekend in the Big 12 tournament? I think if you are K-State, the hope is, hey, can you win 2 games? You won last night against Arizona State. It was an expectation that you were going to win. Now you are playing a much more serious foe. You're going up against Baylor. Baylor has a kid who will probably be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Baylor is a better team than what K-State is. But you are at home, so to speak, and I put that in quotes. You are playing better basketball of late. You do have Coleman Hawkins back. It doesn't feel like a coin flip because Baylor has the advantage, but this is certainly a game that K-State feels like they have the opportunity to go out there and win. It's a little bit different for KU. You certainly are going to have the home court advantage against any team in this tournament that's not named Iowa State. You are playing a little bit better of late. It is a new season. You are veteran-led. You do have a great head coach. You are playing in your home away from home. If there is a team who could possibly catch fire a little bit and make a run in the Big 12 tournament and maybe find themselves in the conference final, you would think that it would be KU. You're wearing your KU hoodie today. You plan on going out there at some point this weekend to watch your Jayhawks. How are you feeling about them heading into this Big 12 tournament?
I actually think KU and K-State should have the same expectation. Win 2 games down at T-Mobile Center. K-State got there first. They got the one they're supposed to get. Arizona State's bad. I don't know why Bobby Hurley's coming back. I don't understand it. You don't understand it. Whatever, Arizona State. They got their one. Can you get a second one? Baylor is not the 2020 Baylor team, or 2021, excuse me. This is not some just behemoth you can't beat. Baylor's got a pro, but you can win today with a good home crowd, and if Coleman Hawkins plays the way he did yesterday. Kansas has the same expectations in my mind. You get your, I don't want to say gimme, because Kansas has made none of them look like gimmies this year, but you get your one. You should beat UCF tonight. And then tomorrow, it'll be a very, very Kansas-slanted arena. And you play Arizona, who you just played on Saturday, and you beat them on Saturday. You feel like you know what they do. They know what you do. You should feel like Friday is the expectation if you're Kansas. If you are a Kansas fan or over at KU or whatever, and you've been telling me new season, you can't play UCF, then lose to Arizona and keep selling that dream. It is, you have to win today and get a win over a good Arizona team tomorrow. And if you lose to Tech, you lose to Tech on Friday. That's kind of life. But get to Friday is the expectation for Kansas.
There's been a lot of conversation about the Big 12 tournament court. I've not got the opportunity to see it for myself. I do plan on going to the Big 12 tournament at some point, just haven't got a chance to go down there yet. Alex Gold was down there and said that the court nearly wasn't as bad in person as it comes off on TV. That actually makes a lot of sense. Here is the commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark. He is defending the Big 12 court.
That court isn't about me. It's about our student athletes. You know, when I first got here, it was all about modernizing and contemporizing our brand, connecting to culture, and getting on the consciousness of current and future student athletes. And that's what we're doing. Every student athlete that walked on that court last week came up to me and said, Brett, it's fantastic. They took selfies. They loved it. Today, I got here very early. Iowa State practiced. And the entire team said, love it, love being on there. I think it's aspirational. You know, that's our stage. And we wanted to make a profound statement. And I think we did, and I love it. And listen, in life, you know, you never get it perfectly correct. But I think the people that matter most that are weighing in really love it, and that's what matters to me.
All right, Brett. It's aspirational to play on the court. We don't got to, you're taking it to a place it doesn't need to go to. Hey, we like the way the court looks. We think it looks different than the other conference courts. We wanted to make a statement with the way that ours looks. That's it. Doesn't have to be much deeper than that. Doesn't have to be much more serious than that. I actually feel very confident that if you actually are attending the games, the court is not that big of a deal. It is a little bit different. Maybe it's just not for me. Maybe it's just not for us. We're a little bit older. I'm used to the court looking one way. The court doesn't look that way, and I'm not a huge fan of it. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter that much to me. It really matters how the kids feel about it. And as long as it doesn't change the way the game is played, I don't know if we can complain too much. I don't think it looks very good on television. I really don't. I think it looks bad on the television. I actually don't really like many of the goofy courts. I don't like the NBA Cup courts that they have. Why is the court blue and red and green? You know what? There was nothing wrong with the old hardwood that we all grew up playing on. I'd be perfectly fine going back to that. Maybe that is just not the life that we have anymore if you cheer for basketball.
Are you inspired by it, though? Is it aspirational when you watch it on television?
I have not gotten those feelings. You know what? When I watch K-State and KU later today, I'll get back to you. I'll let you know if I feel inspired by looking at the court in the Big 12 tournament. Coming up on the other side, Albert Breer is reporting that the Chiefs made an offer to Ronnie Stanley. We'll tell you what that is. We'll get our reaction next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Guys, it's Cody Tapp, and let's talk about feeling your best. If you don't have that same energy, strength, maybe feeling moody, you've lost that drive with your partner, it could be low testosterone. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer, and the true experts you can find at the Low T Center. Getting tested is fast and easy, and we aren't all the same, so don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program. I learned about personalized therapy at the Low T Center and the results you can expect with a customized TRT. So don't put it off. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. My team knows injury law. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $350,000.
Mike's got this.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500.
Mike's got this.
It's here, Kansas City Northland, your new Academy Sports and Outdoor store. Now open at 9130 Northwest Skyview Avenue. Don't miss our grand opening celebration, Friday, March 14th through Sunday, March 16th. Plus, shop grand opening deals starting Thursday, March 13th at your new Kansas City Northland store and at your Liberty, Overland Park, Olathe, and Belton stores. The first 150 customers in line when the store opens this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 18 and over, get a free mystery gift card with over $15,000 in total weekend prizes.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study.
Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
At Lowe's, our members get more. With the My Lowe's Rewards programs, you can shop member-only deals for your home and business every week. Plus, members earn points on eligible purchases. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply.
All right, everybody, it's here. The March to Spring Training and opening day is officially upon us. Hey, I'm Rob Bradford from Baseball Isn't Boring, and we'll have you covered every single day with instant reactions to late-breaking signings, determining which players are, yes, truly in the best shape of their lives, and behind-the-scenes story from all the excitement and intrigue that spring training brings. Follow Baseball Isn't Boring in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's George Karlaftis. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
A little bit of breaking news, something that I'm sure you guys will be interested in hearing. The Bills, they're trading cornerback Kaiir Elam to the Cowboys. You guys might be wondering, who is Kaiir Elam? Why would I care about this? Well, back in the day, Buffalo really wanted a corner. They had it between Trent McDuffie and Kaiir Elam. Do you know what Kansas City did? They traded ahead of Buffalo, and they took Trent McDuffie. Buffalo then selected Kaiir Elam. Trent McDuffie has turned out to be an all-pro player, a guy who is going to make a lot of money playing football. Kaiir Elam got traded before his rookie contract was up. So that is a win for the Kansas City Chiefs. They were clearly in the market for corner. At that range, the run was starting. And if you really like Trent McDuffie, he was not going to be where you originally selected. You need to do some moving and shaking. They did some moving and shaking. They got ahead of a conference rival in the Buffalo Bills. They beat them to the punch. It has worked out for Kansas City. It has not worked out for the Buffalo Bills, as they have now traded Kaiir Elam, who was barbecue chicken the last time that these two teams played each other. He got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Let me play for you guys some audio from Albert Breer. So Albert Breer has a report that the Chiefs made an offer to Ronnie Stanley. Rob really wanted Ronnie Stanley. That was his number one on the wish list for the Chiefs to go get a left tackle. Now, you guys are going to hear this and be thinking, way to go, Brett Veach. I hear this very, very differently. Let me play for you what Albert Breer had to say. This is courtesy of NBC Sports in Boston.
So Ronnie Stanley, I think, as long as Baltimore was going to put something compelling in front of them, was going to stay. Kansas City was right there with them. So Kansas City and Baltimore were both at about 20. Washington and New England were both over 24. I'm not sure how far they went. Obviously, this stuff was spoken about conceptually, I guess is the best way to put it.
That's very.
But where the teams were, some free agency might have happened over the weekend.
Yeah, that's might have been illegal too.
Yeah, but they were over 24.
So it is obvious that the Commanders were looking for a left tackle. They wanted to go get Ronnie Stanley. They missed out on Ronnie Stanley. They went out and they got Laramie Tunsil. The Commanders have answered their question at the position. I'm guessing if you could ask the Commanders, what would you rather have done? You probably would have got Ronnie Stanley. You just give up the cash. You just give up the money, and you get to keep the draft pick compensation because they gave up a lot a lot to go get Laramie Tunsil, but you have figured out your left tackle position for the next handful of years that lines up with your quarterback on a rookie deal. The Commanders did good work here in being very aggressive in trying to improve their roster. This is where I'll be a little bit critical of Kansas City, who desperately wanted a left tackle. That was obvious. And Ronnie Stanley was the best one that was on the board. And this is certainly a good offer. It's just not a winning offer. If you are Ronnie Stanley and you've only been with one organization and your organization is well run, well respected, you're high up in the food chain and your team wins the way that the Ravens do, if you're going to leave Baltimore to go to another contending team, they have to be better than the offer that you have, not the same. It can't be a comparable offer that pulls you away from a 9-year relationship. You got to feel like it's better. Rob, if the Chiefs really wanted Ronnie Stanley, you were going to have to, quote, overpay. You were going to have to give him 22 or 23. You were going to need to get your offer closer to the Commanders or the Patriots, where then I think you force Ronnie Stanley with a very, very tough decision. Now, maybe it was not a money thing. Maybe he was just always going to stay in Baltimore and there was nothing you were going to do about it. And that happens sometimes. We were talking yesterday about Leonard Floyd, and I thought he would sign with the contender. But then you ended up signing in Atlanta. And then you look, well, you grew up in Georgia. You went to a Georgia high school. You went to the University of Georgia. So if the Falcons want you to come there, it makes sense to me why you would maybe take a little bit less to go play for the Falcons. There's always going to be different factors at hand. But if you're the Chiefs, and let's say that Ronnie Stanley was number one on your wish list, which you would have to think by offering him $20 million a year that you really wanted him, at a minimum, you were going to have to beat the Baltimore Ravens offer. It wasn't going to be the same offer and think that he was going to leave the team that he knows to now come play for you. In my opinion, this was not an offer that was ever going to get you Ronnie Stanley. So if you want to give the Chiefs credit for putting their hat into the ring, sure. They put their hat into the ring for Ronnie Stanley, and they missed out, and he went back where? But if you had told me this from the very beginning, hey, the Ravens and the Chiefs are going to offer the same amount, which deal do you think he takes? I think most players in the league, especially if they're in a good team, a good situation, they choose to just stay where they are.
I understand your point, and I get it. Like, you gotta outbid to win. Like, I get it. But, man, to me, this shows the Chiefs were all in on that home run swing the way I was. We spent a lot of time, and it's moot now, but whatever. We spent a lot of time arguing about Ronnie Stanley, and he does not fit historically what the Chiefs do in free agency. Based on Albert Breer's reporting, $20 million a year for Ronnie Stanley would have been a massive deal. That would have been their big, like, Jalen Moore is their big move because of position, but Ronnie Stanley would have been a, oh, wow type of move. I think the Chiefs realized, hey, the best fix for our problem is Ronnie Stanley. Here's plan A. Here's $20 million. We're going to do everything we can to go get him. He just chose to stay. Sometimes you can't fight the allure of staying home. You know, moving is tough, blah, blah, blah. We don't know. But, man, the Chiefs seem like, based on Albert's reporting, they were all in on Ronnie Stanley, which lines up with what we hear from other people around the country, including our own Nate Taylor.
But this is where I'll push back just a little bit. I'll bet just a little bit. I'll push back a little bit. This is kind of like high school recruiting, right? You don't give KU any credit for almost getting Jamar Chase. Either he went to school there or he didn't go to school there. The Chiefs have a lot of almost at left tackles. Now, that's aside from the Jalen Moore thing. I like the Jalen Moore signing. Maybe he works out and you end up having a really good deal. This kind of sounds like the same story with Trent Williams, though. How bad do you want to fill this position? Because if you want something that you think is really, really valuable, if you want something that this is one of the hardest things in the league to get, you're going to have to maybe extend yourself past whatever kind of hard, concrete budget that you have together. And I think the Chiefs, like most good teams, have just said, hey, this is what we think the number is. This is what we think this is worth. And that's perfectly fine. But I don't know if you're going to find your home run swing at left tackle the way that they were trying to do it. Now, again, maybe Jalen Moore is that home run swing. But this sounds like the story that they had with Trent Williams. Well, we almost got Trent Williams. Well, you didn't outbid the team that he was currently on. You were never going to change jobs then if that was the case. If San Francisco offered this, he knows the system, his kids live there, he doesn't have to move his family, and you're going to ask him to move, you were probably going to have to come with a noticeably better offer to get him to take it. So maybe this might end up being a blessing. I'm certainly not upset that they didn't get Ronnie Stanley. I would not give Ronnie Stanley $22, $23 million a year. I'd much rather go with the option that they did. But this story does sound very familiar to what happened, what was it now, 5-6 years ago, where the Chiefs almost got their answer at left tackle, but had to end up settling for somebody different because they just didn't want to spend the money to go lock in the position.
It is interesting to me, too, based on the amount they want Ronnie Stanley and the timeline, it does feel like Jalen Moore was the plan B ahead of Dan Moore, though, right?
I agree.
I mean, maybe they knew the price and that was why it was, but it seems like Chiefs' plan A at left tackle was throw the bag at Ronnie Stanley, and plan B was smart offer, bet on the upside. We think there's more to be had with Jalen Moore, and I don't know if Dan Moore is even plan C, but it seems like the Chiefs' plan was Stanley, Moore, and I don't know that Dan Moore Jr. was ever on it, especially considering the contract he got. They identified the two they wanted. It just one of them was a person we never really talked about.
I'm 100% with you, because if you were willing to offer that to Ronnie Stanley, you clearly had the money to go get Dan Moore Jr. if you really wanted to. Now that we know what Ronnie Stanley got, the money was there if you really wanted to make the offer to Dan Moore Jr. You didn't think he was worth it, which I agree with you. I don't think Dan Moore Jr. was worth the contract that he got. I feel even more strongly about that when I look at the team that offered him that contract. This wasn't like he ended up going to the Bills and you're like, oh, man, we missed him. He went to Tennessee. So I think you made the right decision when it comes to that. I mean, when it comes to the left tackles, it is clear the teams that were in the same position as Kansas City, right? New England was in that position, which makes sense. They have a lot of holes on a lot of different spots on their roster. The Commanders were also a team that were looking for a left tackle. Baltimore was looking for a left tackle because they were trying to address the situation. They went back to Ronnie Stanley in Tennessee. And I would say, just depending on where you're at, I think Kansas City maybe got the best option. I'm not sure if they got the best player out of that group, but I do feel pretty confident that they got the best answer, the best solution given what they paid for the position compared to these other teams in the National Football League. I don't think that some of those deals end up being good contracts for the Chiefs at all. Let's continue our Chiefs conversation with this. Yesterday, I was hanging out, enjoying my evening, watching a little college basketball, and I get a call. I answer the phone. It's friend of the show, Tim Barbalace. Tim Barbalace, you've heard him before. He does pre- and post-game for the Baltimore Ravens. Said, C-Dot, what's up? Hey, how you doing, man? What do you need? Hey, the Ravens just got DeAndre Hopkins. I hadn't seen the news. Oh, I didn't know this. What can you tell me about him? What do you think about DeAndre Hopkins? This is what I told him. I think DeAndre Hopkins is cooked. Now, cooked is relative. Then I asked him, what do you think that the Ravens are looking for? If they're looking for a number 2 opposite Zay Flowers, I think you've made a terrible decision if that is your expectation. If you were counting on DeAndre Hopkins to be wide receiver number 3, number 4, and you're not counting on more than, 500 to 600 yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns this year, then I think you are going into it with the right mindset. I think we have seen what the end of the DeAndre Hopkins career looks like. And it's not much different than kind of what I thought heading into this thing. I gave you guys the analogy. This feels like the end of Julio Jones. If you go back to look at Julio Jones' career, there is a clear line where you can tell he's not Julio Jones anymore. And now you're looking at it. I mean, we're now talking about a player who is now going to be on his 4th team since 2022. We're talking about a guy who just didn't have a great year last year. He played in 16 games, had 610 yards, had 5 touchdowns, was a non-factor for the most part in the postseason, wasn't consistently on the field. At this point, I think you kind of know who DeAndre Hopkins is. It's not that much money. If you're going into it with a reasonable expectation, I think it's okay. It's not a move that I would do. I'm very happy that the Chiefs didn't make that move. I think there were better veteran moves that were out there. I saw Van Jefferson sign for half the amount of money of DeAndre Hopkins. I'd rather have Van Jefferson at this stage in his career than go have D-Hop. I'd rather have DeMarcus Robinson at this stage in his career than go have D-Hop. And I know it sounds crazy. D-Hop, borderline Hall of Famer, great hands. It's over for DeAndre Hopkins. We've seen this before. It's really, really difficult in the NFL to turn back the clock. It's nearly impossible to turn it. And once the decline starts with the player, There is no stopping it. The decline has clearly happened with DeAndre Hopkins. It's happened. And that's nothing. He didn't do anything wrong. Football happened. You played in the NFL for 12 years. You played high-level high school. You played at Clemson. You have been playing high-level football for the last 15 to 18 years of your life. You are now 33 years old. Your body doesn't have much more to give to the game. So now it's, hey, can I maybe go get a ring? I got a chance to go to my first Super Bowl last year. Let me try to help out this veteran club. Let me be a role guy. Let me come in, show some of the young guys how to work, show them I'm appreciative, and they can learn from me. That's the stage that DeAndre Hopkins is in his career. So I didn't have a bad report, I would say, to D-Hop. I'm curious what you guys think. 913-586-7965. If a Ravens fan called you and hit you up and said, what can we expect from DeAndre Hopkins? My answer is simple. I would say 600 yards. I think that is the ceiling of what you can get. I think that's the best case scenario of what DeAndre Hopkins is at this stage in his career. Last year, DeAndre Hopkins had 56 catches for 610 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think that's the best that you can ask for at 32, 33 years old. I told them that I think D-Hop has 2 problems now at this stage in his career. He can't run past people and he can't create separation. If you're not going to be a burner, and everybody's fast in the league. Everybody at your position is running a 4.4, 4.5. Corners are doing that. Safeties are running that. It is just a fast league. If you can't run past anybody at this stage in your career, and if you can't consistently create separation, it's just going to be really hard for you to be productive in the National Football League. You've seen that with DeAndre Hopkins. You've seen that with Travis Kelce, the Chiefs tight end, who is a little bit older than DeAndre Hopkins. The game is the game. Sure, some guys are going to last because they're just elite level route runners. That time, I think, might be over in the league. I don't know if Jerry Rice is playing into his 40s, not in 2025. You maybe could do that then. The guys are faster than ever before. You got legitimate safeties running 4.3, 4.4 speeds. You are not consistently getting open if you can't do those 2 things. I think the Chiefs were very wise to let DeAndre Hopkins go. There was not a scenario in which I wanted DeAndre Hopkins back on the team. Your offense cannot be relying on DeAndre Hopkins in 2023. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Let me ask you a question. I agree with you on D-Hop, and I've seen this sentiment on social media and our text line. Wouldn't everything you just said about DeAndre Hopkins apply to Kareem Hunt? Because I wouldn't say Kareem Hunt's young and explosive. I would say the game is faster than ever, and he plays a position where wear and tear hits the body faster than DeAndre Hopkins' position. Is it fair to say, while productive and helpful for what the Chiefs needed in September, October, November of 2024, that everything you just said about DeAndre Hopkins applies to Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, for the most part. No, you and I are on the same page about.
I'm not arguing.
No,
I'm just saying.
I know. I just want to be. You and I are on the same page about Kareem Hunt. There's not a scenario aside from an injury in which I would feel comfortable with Kareem Hunt starting the season in Kansas City. Now, maybe a similar situation happens. In training camp, Elijah Mitchell goes down with an injury. Maybe Isaiah Pacheco isn't as healthy as you think he can be in August and September, and you need to make an emergency move, and Kareem Hunt is waiting in the wings, and you go pick him up. But heading into the season, no, I don't want him. Go draft a running back. You got a healthy Isaiah Pacheco, we presume, coming back. Elijah Mitchell this year. He missed all of last season. If you think he's healthy, let's give it a chance. Let's give it a go. But going into it with the guy that you don't think has explosiveness, a guy that you don't think can hit those home run swings, I'm just not super interested in having those guys on the team in 2025. So, no, you and I are on the same page when it comes to Kareem Hunt and whether or not we would want him back on the Chiefs in 2025.
I just think the story of Kareem Hunt round 2.0 and DeAndre Hopkins' time in Kansas City is going to be remembered with the following notion. They were very helpful, and they were easy to say goodbye to. Because what they did in 2024, both of them, was important for what the Chiefs needed at the time. But The Chiefs no longer need those things, so you walk on those things. And there was a time in October where DeAndre Hopkins, you could argue, was the most valuable wide receiver on this team because that was around the time Xavier Worthy's swoon was happening. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown was not playing, Rashee Rice was not playing, and no one was like, ooh, they got Justin Watson out there. You could argue for a moment in the season, DeAndre Hopkins was their most valuable wideout, and for a large portion of the season, the Chiefs wouldn't have had a running back without Kareem Hunt. Those guys were helpful and productive, but you walk on them. And if we get a news alert, oh, Kareem Hunt is a Steeler, and, Pony calls you, I imagine you'll be saying the same things about Kareem Hunt that you said about DeAndre Hopkins.
Text line 913-586-7965. So yesterday, we saw a move that, I don't know if it affects the Chiefs, but certainly a player that in some ways were linked to the Kansas City Chiefs. Demarcus Robinson was available. He hit free agency. He is going to the San Francisco 49ers. He signed a 2-year, $9.5 million deal and got $6 million of it fully guaranteed to go play in San Francisco. That is an organization that is completely starting over. They are starting over on a lot of different phases of their team and transitioning to a new window, as we suspect they're going to pay Brock Purdy coming up at some point in the next 90, 120 days or so. I know what I've said about younger and explosive. I understand that in some ways this makes me a little bit of a hypocrite, and I can live with that. I would have been interested at Demarcus Robinson on 2 years, $9.5 million with $6 million fully guaranteed. I'd have been interested. Now, what does being interested mean? I'm interested in Demarcus Robinson for him to come in and be wide receiver number 4. That's what I think wide receiver number 4 money looks like in 2025. I think it's worth $6 million for the next 2 seasons. But if you were telling me that in the same way that I think the Chiefs are looking for upgrades of players that they used to have, it is not a question to me that they love the Jerick McKinnon type and they look for that style of running back. They got that player with Samaje Perine. They then got that player with Elijah Mitchell. Very, very similar type. If they are looking for a Justin Watson replacement, a guy who is a 4th receiver in the league, who's very reliable, I kind of think that's what Demarcus Robinson is. The same conversation we were just having about D-Hop with going into with realistic expectations. I mean, isn't that kind of the case for Demarcus Robinson? I don't think anybody thinks that Demarcus Robinson's going to have 700 yards in this offense. No, can you have 400 yards? And if an injury happens, are you capable of stepping in and being good? He knows the system, would certainly work and fit into the locker room. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't go get Demarcus Robinson at this cheap of a deal. Now, let's see how the wide receiver room shapes up. I still think the Chiefs are in line to draft somebody, but you only got 6 draft picks, so I don't want to say, oh, they need this, they need this. Well, they're probably not going to draft all the positions that you think they need to because they just have a limited number of picks. This isn't a team that has 14 premium picks that you can go out there and really wheel and deal and kind of make moves. Something's going to be left on the chopping block. I would have been interested in going to pick up D-Rob in that wide receiver 4 Justin Watson kind of role, Nico Remigio kind of role. I'd have been interested in it.
I 100% agree. And you mentioned the draft. I think the Chiefs absolutely need to address wide receiver before the draft with another veteran body. In the Demarcus Robinson, I know Darius Slayton got paid a big number, but that type of lane, because you're right, the Chiefs have, 6 draft picks? I guess the comp picks came out. They now have 7 because they have Mr. Irrelevant. They have 7 draft picks. The Chiefs are not known for hitting on valuable wide receivers in the Brett Veach era in rounds 5, 6, and 7. So I don't think they're using one in round 1. I don't think they're using one in round 2 or 3. So I would like another body in that room via free agency. Maybe it is Tyler Lockett. Maybe it is whomever. But I think they need another one. I'm with you. I know that Demarcus Robinson gets a bad rap in Kansas City because he ran backwards and with the ball in one hand. There's a lot of reason to get a bad rap. But when Demarcus Robinson was in Kansas City, he was productive as a 3rd, 4th wideout type of guy. He has played that role in Kansas City and played it effectively. Now, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. It's very possible he went to San Francisco because there's no other person in San Francisco to throw the ball to right now.
They don't have a whole lot of options right now.
Which could change the calculus. But that contract is one I would have liked to have seen Demarcus Robinson back in Kansas City.
We'll get back to the Chiefs coming up at the top of the hour. Let's switch gears just a little bit. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is, acting like Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Regardless of what you may think or hear about the real estate market, you can sell your home right now. It takes a skilled real estate agent to help you maximize the sale of your home quickly and effectively. Dawn Sharp and her team are the first call you should make. With a customized and strategic marketing system, Dawn can help you get your home sold. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Visit them at homesforsaleInKC.com and start packing.
98 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. Locally owned and operated since 1927. Headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at OHDKC.com.
It's March matchup season at BetMGM. Ready to shoot your shot? Lock in your picks for this year's tournament with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Being on the sidelines is one thing. This March, get into the game with exciting state-of-the-art live tracking technology, exclusive sportsbook selections, and so much more. Check out BetMGM Originals for dozens of markets you won't find anywhere else. Take a shot at our exciting free-to-play games for your chance at scoring odds boost tokens, bonus bets, and many other prizes. Plus, new players can score up to $1,500 in bonus bets if their first bet loses. From the big dogs to the underdogs, March matchups at BetMGM is a player's best friend. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. First bet offers for new customers only. All other promotions for existing customers. Subject to eligibility requirements and rewards may vary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I love saving money, and Hy-Vee is always helping my family fight inflation. Not only has Hy-Vee lowered prices all over the store, they also help me save a ton of money on gas. In fact, multiple times in the last few months, I've saved over $1 per gallon with Hy-Vee fuel savers. I love seeing the price on the pump drop dramatically each time I fill up. This Saturday and Sunday, save 30 cents per gallon on gas with every $60 you spend on groceries. Stack up the savings. The more you spend, the more you'll save on your next fill-up, only at Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee's new fresh fried donuts are pure melt-in-your-mouth happiness with icing on top. Fresh out of the fryer every morning, you'll fall in love at first bite. Mix and match your favorite glazed donuts, donut holes, fritters, twists, cream-filled Long John, sprinkles, and gourmet delights. Pick up a dozen today. You'll be the hero of the morning meeting, queen of the book club, classroom parent of the year. Sweeten someone's day with decadent fresh fried donuts only from Hy-Vee.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/gutter to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/gutter for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Here is your Game of the Week, presented by Hyundai. Another iteration of the league's biggest rivalry this weekend as Los Angeles travels to Boston. While Boston looks to maintain their spot in the East, Los Angeles will look to make a late-season push to improve their seeding for the postseason. Led by one of the greatest to ever do it, will LA be able to pull off the upset against a young, hungry Boston team? Here's a riddle for you. What do yoga mats, a toothbrush, and a Hyundai have in common? I'll give you a moment. Time's up. If you guessed they're all fun, well-designed, and super useful, you guessed wrong. The answer is you can order all those things on Amazon. And the best part, you won't even have to break down a car-sized Amazon box after because you'll pick up your Hyundai at the dealer. Hyundai, now available on Amazon. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Limited availability. Pick up through participating Hyundai dealers in select markets. Now you can buy a new Hyundai at Amazon. Visit HyundaiUSA.com for more details.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 78.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Opening day coverage is brought to you by Hollywood Casino. Stop by Hollywood Casino every Wednesday in March from 12 until 2 to register for your chance to win opening day tickets. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Welcome to your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I want to read to you guys a quote. This quote is regarding Aaron Rodgers. I would ask if Aaron Rodgers cares about his legacy, but I really don't think that he does. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers knows that the rest of us are laughing at him and not always with him, but you know what? You are entitled to live the life that you want to live. So Doug Whaley was on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, and he said, quote, Aaron Rodgers is holding the entire Steelers organization hostage. So the report is that Aaron Rodgers is between two teams and where he wants to play. He can either go play for the Pittsburgh Steelers or the New York Giants. Now, you don't have forever to do this, but I'm guessing that these two teams will give Aaron Rodgers through the weekend to make a decision about what he wants to do. Wouldn't got to take too much time on this, 'cause I don't have too much to say on this. This take seems very simple. You wanted Aaron Rodgers. You got him. This is Aaron Rodgers. Uncertainty about what he wants to do in the offseason. I just saw a picture. He was walking around the beach with a blanket wrapped around him. By himself, just vibes. You know what you are getting into when you sign up for Aaron Rodgers. You can't be mad. You cannot be mad if you're the Steelers and you're upset that Aaron Rodgers is dragging his feet about a decision. If you sit down with the young lady and you ask her, how did your last relationship go? And she tells you, I cheated on my boyfriend. And then you say, what about the time before that? And then she says the same thing happened. You can't be mad when you see her texting other people because she's told you what she is. So I don't have too much. Pittsburgh, good luck. I hope that it works out for you in the way that you want. I would like Aaron Rodgers to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it is always going to be something. When was the last time that Aaron Rodgers was not in the middle of some mess? Whether it was on the field, whether it's off the field, whether it's a quote, a comment, something he says on the Pat McAfee show. I mean, we've been doing this now with Aaron Rodgers for 5 years. No one can say they're ignorant to who Aaron Rodgers is, or you don't know. You know. But you're willing to put up with it because you think that he can help you for this upcoming season. But the baggage is clearly documented on Aaron Rodgers. So again, good luck to Aaron. I hope that he finds himself in whatever he is trying to find this offseason and makes a decision about what team he wants to play for. I think the league is better when Aaron Rodgers is in it. I would like for him to play this season. It will be better, certainly more entertaining if he goes to play for the Steelers than if he goes to play for the Giants. But if he goes to the Giants, it will be comedy as well. It will be comedy. I don't think he's going to the Vikings. I think this is it. If he wants to start in the NFL, he better make a decision by close of business on Monday about what team he wants to go play for. You can go play for the Steelers. You can go play for the Giants. It is really, really that simple. Now,
hold on. Go ahead. I apologize for interrupting.
Good, you're good. Good.
Do you really believe the NFL's better to have Aaron Rodgers in it?
I think he's a very interesting person.
I think he is interesting because of his name. I think what makes him interesting is this nonsense. It's the Netflix documentary. It's the darkness retreat. It's the McAfee pops.
I agree with that.
It's
now,
what makes him
it wasn't always like that, but
Correct.
now for sure.
That's what he is in 2024 and 2025. That's what's interesting about him. It is all the calling him a character feels like a poor term, but
Storylines.
It's all of that.
It definitely
the
is that.
actual game, the NFL does not need Aaron Rodgers.
I don't disagree with you.
When
but
he's playing football, which is few and far between, I'm telling you, the league's not better.
No, you're right. But as somebody who makes a living talking about the storylines of the National Football League, whatever plan the Steelers have at quarterback or the Giants have at quarterback, it is not nearly as interesting as the one they could have with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think the plan will work, but it certainly will be interesting to watch and see and discuss and talk about. And sometimes that's what I think Aaron Rodgers is doing it for. I think he's doing it for the gram at this point. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is in search of trying to be a great teammate. I don't think he's in search of trying to win a championship. I think Aaron Rodgers is doing it for the gram. So great. Hey, I'm in. If we've established that from the very beginning, let's do it that way, and let's continue to do it for the gram. Let's get one more year of storylines. You go sign your one-day contract with the Green Bay Packers. You retire. Maybe we'll see you down the road. Maybe we won't see you again down the road. But let's at least get one more story out of the Aaron Rodgers content cycle. I do want to play this for you before we'll get back to the NFL coming up at the top of the hour. This is from ESPN Radio. Now, Chiefs fans, I don't want you to get too upset because this is just one person's opinion. It's just one man's opinion. But I'm telling you that this offseason, the opinions about your Chiefs are going to be coming in hot and heavy and faster than ever before. When you lose the way the Chiefs lost, and this was worse than the Tampa Bay loss. This one was bad. It was real bad. They were not competitive. They didn't look prepared. They looked shell-shocked. They were the heavyweight champion of the world, and they went in there and they got knocked out in the second round. Everybody's going to have opinions about who you are. So this is from ESPN Radio, one of their morning hosts, Joe Fortenbaugh. He doesn't even have the Chiefs winning their division next year. Listen to this.
Problem is they're not going to be able to solve all of their issues to get back to the Super Bowl next year. They're heading for, I'm not going to call it a reset, but I would not expect them in the Super Bowl next year. I don't expect them in the AFC Championship game next year. I'm going to be betting that they do not win the AFC West next year. Right now, it sounds crazy because of how dominant they've been. But at some point, the bottom's going to fall out on these guys. There are a few big red flag indicators. Number one, they have won 17 consecutive one-score games. They were 12-0 in one-score games last year. Last time we heard of a team that was that dominant in one-score games was the Minnesota Vikings a few seasons ago. Bottomed out the next year.
They went 13-3, right?
You can't just bank on the idea that Denver's always going to have that game-winning field goal blocked, or that Cincinnati's always going to commit that penalty in the big spot, or that Isaiah Likely's toe's always going to come down out of bounds. It doesn't work like that. Eventually, the math catches up to you. You're going to start losing some one-score games. On top of that, I don't see Travis Kelce having some resurgence. He'll be good. He won't be great.
All right. This is what I don't understand, because people were saying this last year about Kansas City, and it never made any sense to me. Why are people continuing to compare them to the Minnesota Vikings? Do you guys know who the Minnesota Vikings quarterback was that season that everybody keeps referring to? Because they kept referring to that last year. This is not like some new analogy. And no shade towards Joe Fortenbaugh, but he is not the first person to have this opinion about the Chiefs. Do you know who their quarterback was? It was Case Keenum. You know what your team is going to have when Case Keenum is your starting quarterback? Regression. That's what your team's going to have. Regression. Why are we comparing the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs to a team that was led by Case Keenum as their starting quarterback? Yes, that was the Minneapolis Miracle season. That's the one where they went to the NFC Championship game. They got dusted off by the Eagles, and then we never heard from them again. Those teams pop up all the time. How have the Vikings become the example of a team that overplays themselves? How? This happens every year. People don't, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Maybe the Chiefs don't win their division. I'm predicting they're going to win their division. I imagine you are also predicting them to win their division. Maybe they don't. It will certainly not be because they regress to the mean. It's not going to be the why. If the Chiefs don't win the AFC West, it will be for the same reason that San Francisco didn't win the NFC West this past year. Everything that could go wrong just went wrong. Think about everything that went wrong for San Francisco this year. Their left tackle got hurt. Their running back got hurt. Their number one wide receiver tore his ACL. Their first-round pick got shot in the offseason. It could not have gone any worse for San Francisco last season than it went. But I don't think that San Francisco regressed. I don't think that at all. If Kansas City misses the postseason, that's how it will look. Not because the league has caught up to them and last year was a fluke and they were able to hold it together. I just don't know how you have seen the entirety of Patrick Mahomes' career and then compare them to a team that had Case Keenum as their starting quarterback. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. All right, coming up on the other side, let's keep talking NFL free agency. I'm going to give you the team that I was most impressed with, and I noticed a little bit of a trend with free agency. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Zero, like in 0% financing. Zero is back. Up to 0% financing on select 2024 and 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we're 2024 Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. 0% event. The Subaru A Lot to Love event at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on Google Analytics.
Hey, it's Dick Ray. Why do they call us the heating, AC, and plumbing magician? We show up on time, diagnose and fix the problem quickly without breaking the bank. And now we have our own madness going on in March with our Dick Ray BOGO deal. Schedule a $99 AC tune-up by March 31st and receive your furnace tune-up next fall for free. Come on, sing it with me.
Call Dick Ray, he's your cooling magician. Dick Ray, he's a man on a mission.
Honey, it's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at PowellKC.com.
This week, FanDuel is bringing you a Dog of the Day Profit Boost token. One of the best parts about the tourney is when an underdog takes down a powerhouse. And right now, those upsets can get even better because if your underdog bet wins, you'll land even more winnings with a Profit Boost. This is your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the ones that refuse to go quietly. If you've been waiting to join FanDuel, there's no better time. The app's easy to use, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your Dog of the Day with a profit boost. Because after all, anything can happen in March. FanDuel is the official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
At Chain Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Chain Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
At Lowe's, our members get more. With the My Lowe's Rewards programs, you can shop member-only deals for your home and business every week. Plus, members earn points on eligible purchases. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply.
Royals coverage sponsored by Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer and Jersey Mike's Month of Giving.
Join us in supporting Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer and Jersey Mike's Month of Giving. Visit any Casey, Topeka, or Lawrence Jersey Mike's and donate. You can also donate through the Jersey Mike's app. Help the fight against childhood cancer with Braden's Hope and Jersey Mike's.
Hey Royals fans, it's Vern. The Hot Stove Show is back every Thursday night at 6 o'clock from spring training all the way up until opening day. This is your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, this is what I would like to do, and I appreciate your time. We'll get back to talking about the Chiefs coming up in just a bit. I would like to go through some of the teams in the NFL that I think had a really good free agency period. Now, the period is winding down a little bit. Most of the big moves are already off the table. Now, there's going to be some moves that trickle in. There's going to be some additional information. But for the most part, the big dogs have signed. There's a couple of more. Cam Robinson still is unsigned. Mekhi Becton is still unsigned. There's a bunch of wide receivers that you heard of still haven't found a team. Guys are going to get in where they fit in. But for the most part, the guys that really move the needle have changed teams. Let's start with one team that I really like what they've done this offseason. I really like what we've seen from Minnesota. Now, Minnesota is taking a very big gamble that J.J. McCarthy is going to answer a lot of their questions. You let Sam Darnold walk out of the door at a pretty fair price. I think Sam Darnold got paid what Sam Darnold is worth. I don't think the Seattle overpaid for him. I think they paid what the market says that he's worth. Minnesota is now going to go with the rookie quarterback, and they have really tried to strengthen their roster. They go get Will Freeze, the guard. They give him a lot of money. They re-sign Byron Murphy, one of the better corners in the National Football League. They re-sign Aaron Jones. They bring in Ryan Kelly. He was a center for the Indianapolis Colts. Now they bring him over to play center for them. It is clear what they were going for. We're going to try to solidify our offensive line. They made two big swings, two big moves on the offensive line. They also kept their running back, and they made a move or two on the defensive end. Minnesota operated this offseason like a team that's ready to run. We had a very good season last year. We didn't have the postseason that we expected to have, but we're going to try to run this thing back. We're going to try to get stronger on the offensive line to give our quarterback what he feels he needs to go out there. I mean, you're talking about an offense that, in theory, has just about everything you need. Aaron Jones ran for 1,200 yards last year. They have the best wide receiver in the National Football League, in my opinion. One of the better number 2 wide receivers in the league in Jordan Addison. I loved him coming out of college. You got a very, very good tight end and an improved offensive line with an offensive-minded head coach. It's not crazy to me that if J.J. McCarthy is competent, if he is a good quarterback in year one, you could potentially have a top 10 offense in the National Football League if J.J. McCarthy is able to operate, and I think their defense is going to be just fine. So if I had to highlight one team that I'm really impressed by what they did and really impressed by the way that they built this roster off this offseason, I would say it's the Minnesota Vikings. Rob, is there a team in free agency that, as the dust is starting to settle just a little bit, that you look at what they've done the last couple of days and you're really happy, you're really impressed by what you saw them do?
Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears had clearly one glaring hole. Now, if you want to say, hey, they don't have great weaponry, I think Ben Johnson fixes their weaponry problem just by walking in the door because he made the Lions offense the most explosive in the NFL. And no one would say, oh, man, the Lions weapons were good, but I think he made them better. Caleb Williams was running around for his life in every game last season. Like, he was constantly pressured. Some of that might be him, some of the offensive line. Ryan Poles decided, let's figure out if it's him or the offensive line by giving him people in front of him. They signed Dahlman, the center who was with the Falcons. They traded for Joe Tooney. That's a major deal. They traded for Jonah Jackson. Like, the Bears this offseason were all in on Caleb Williams is going to be standing upright. It kind of reminds me, and I don't remember if I think Ryan Poles was in the front office when the post-Bucs Super Bowl when Brett Veach and co. said, okay, Patrick Mahomes is never running around for his life again. And they went out and got Tooney, Creed, Orlando Brown, Trey Smith. Like, they rebuilt the offensive line. That's kind of what Ryan Poles did this year in Chicago. If Caleb Williams is that dude, the offensive line they have in front of him is going to give him the time to go be that dude. I love what the Bears have done.
This is the interesting thing to me about the Bears and how they've handled the offseason. At some point this summer, we're going to turn on ESPN, FS1, everybody. And they're going to do the segment on what player, what quarterback has the most pressure on him heading into this upcoming season. Dak Prescott is usually near the top of that list. Lamar getting to his first Super Bowl. Josh Allen. Those guys are usually near the top of the list when we're having this discussion. I think Caleb Williams might be number one overall. Think about everything that the Bears have done to try to see if they have the starting quarterback. You have spent the number one overall pick on a quarterback. You have given him a capable run game. You have made more investments on your offensive line than any team in the National Football League this offseason. You traded for a potential Hall of Famer. You made a couple of other moves. The Bears still have a top pick in the NFL draft. You spent the top pick last year on Rome Odunze. You brought in Ben Johnson, the offensive-minded head coach. The Bears have done everything in their power to at least find out if they have the answer at quarterback. Now, I think they have the answer at quarterback, but we'll see. Because this offseason, the one thing that people will not accept is the amount of sacks that Caleb Williams took last year is the offensive line's fault, not his. I think he had that problem in college with holding on to the ball too long. Now, they believe that they have built an offensive line that gives your quarterback a chance. You don't have a chance if you get sacked 68 times last year the way that he did. That's just counting sacks. That's not counting quarterback hits. It's not counting other things. He was sacked, brought to the ground 68 times last year. You're just not going to have success if you have that many negative plays in your arsenal. So let's see how the Bears look. Let's see how they fix things. Another thing that I noticed is if you look at the teams that you think were very aggressive and active in the free agency period, they're all in the NFC, right? Like, I mentioned Minnesota as a team. You mentioned Chicago as a team. Seattle was also very active in free agency. They got a new starting quarterback. Washington was very aggressive in the offseason. They go get Deebo Samuel. They go pick up Laramie Tunsil. To hell with picks. They went out and made a move. The Rams, I would say, were pretty aggressive in free agency. Like, we can kind of go up and down the list of teams that you think were very aggressive in free agency. San Francisco also was a team. I don't know if you had that as much in the AFC. I don't know what that means or if the power is shifting. It's so much of a quarterback league, and so many of the star quarterbacks in the league find themselves on the AFC side. But there is no question to me that if we had to make a winners and losers conversation about NFL free agency, man, a majority of those teams we're going to discuss are teams in the NFC, whether it's the Bears, Vikings, Seahawks, Commanders, Niners, Rams. It was just a very, very interesting last 72 hours or so in the NFC.
I think, and everyone's going to have their theories. My theory on why that is, man, the NFC is wide open. Like, the Eagles are really good. And the Eagles will probably be the NFC favorite to go back to the Super Bowl. They should be. But how many times this year, Carrington, did we say the following sentence? I could see team blank coming out of the NFC. There was a time we thought it could be the Rams. There's a time we thought it could be the Lions. There's a time we thought it could be the Eagles. Like, there was, the Commanders were the flavor of the month in the playoffs. Like, the Bucs got, if I were to tell you right now, hey, it's not the Eagles who in the NFC makes Super Bowl, you would pick 7 different teams. So, yeah, they should be more aggressive. everyone is about a player and a half, maybe 2 players away from being in the Super Bowl and competing with the Eagles. And the Eagles, you could argue, are selling off pieces. They're getting younger and cheaper, but younger doesn't always mean better. If you're an NFC fan, you could argue that we're catching up to the Eagles. Like, I think one of the reasons why the NFC has been ultra aggressive is I feel like everyone in the NFC is in it. There is no, that team has no chance at all. Like, the NFC is just wide open.
Looking at the text line 913-586-7965, a lot of people making the point that you made about rookie contracts in the NFC. Certainly far more of them in the NFC than in the AFC. So it's just going to lend to you being a little bit more aggressive. Chicago has a quarterback on a rookie deal. Minnesota does. Washington does. We're trying to figure out what's that certainly is a really good point. A little bit of breaking news. Russell Wilson is going to go meet with the Cleveland Browns, a source tells NFL Network. You guys know he ended his season this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, so he certainly was in the division. He was on the Broncos a couple of years ago, on the Seahawks a couple of years ago. Russell Wilson is going to go sit down with the Browns. What the Browns need right now is a cheap veteran quarterback. Now, maybe the Browns think that Shedeur Sanders is the answer to their question. I don't know. But what the Browns need more than anything is you just got to take your medicine for the next couple of years. You are not winning. If you cannot win with a player that takes up the amount of cap space and dead cap that Deshaun Watson does, that you don't get anything from him. The Browns are paying for a elite high-end quarterback and certainly don't have one on the roster. It's just not realistic to think that you are winning now at this point. So what you need to do is you need to get a quarterback like a Kirk Cousins who doesn't appear like he is going to change teams. Get a quarterback like a Russell Wilson who can come in, make basically no money because he's made a lot of money in his career. You attach a lot of incentives to the deal to allow him to make a little bit of money this offseason, and you give that guy free reign to be the starting quarterback and try to help change the culture. But there is no scenario for Cleveland while they are still under the Deshaun Watson deal, and they are under the deal for the next 2 years. So they just did some accounting the last couple of days. Not that you guys were keeping up with it, not that you need to be keeping up with it. So the Browns basically paid out Deshaun Watson for this upcoming season. They have 1 year left on that deal. I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to be good next year either. He's going to miss all of this season. He has just not been healthy, not been productive. You just got to swallow this medicine for 1 more season. And then you can go from there. So maybe next year is when you draft your quarterback. You have him sit for a year, and then he starts in his second year, and you're out from under it. And then you can be a team that wheels and deals, and you're aggressive, and you can make moves. But Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Gardner Minshew, one of those kind of veteran quarterbacks, that is just going to be the best possible case scenario for them as a team. All right, let's get back to the Chiefs coming up on the other side. I want to ask you guys about their wide receiver room. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Fellas, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive. You know that feeling when you wake up energized and you're ready to attack the day? But what if you're not getting that feeling anymore? You're not feeling like yourself. What if you have low energy, weight gain, a lack of motivation? This has become an everyday thing for you. Well, this could be something simple. It could be low testosterone, and you're not alone. Trust me, many men experience this as they get older. The good news is you don't have to accept it. There is help out there, and it all starts with a simple consultation with my friends at Heartland Men's Health. For just $99, you can get a quick blood test and personalized advice from a team of experts. No judgment, just support. Don't wait. Pick up the phone and change your life today by either going on the website and visit heartlandmenshealth.com or calling this number, 844-447-6600 to schedule your consultation. Feel like yourself again because you deserve it. Heartland Men's Health, your partner in better living.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. When you think about the long and storied history of the ACC, 2 schools come to mind, Stanford and California. Obviously, I'm being facetious, the 2 former Pac-12 schools, but they're in the ACC now, and they are playing tonight in the ACC tournament, and Stanford, about a 6-point favorite in the game, total about 138.5. Now, people are going to be anti-Cal here because Cal played in a double overtime game yesterday, a quadruple overtime primetime game over the weekend, I'm going to like Cal at the end here, right before tip-off. If you can get 6, give me Cal to cover against Stanford. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app and take your game to the next level with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
What would you do if you could go back in time with the tap of a button?
Watch the ancient Egyptians build the pyramids?
How'd they do it?
Buy enough Bitcoin to purchase your very own private island.
Or maybe just skip the joke that flopped at the holiday party.
Unfortunately, we haven't figured out how to rewind time. But you can rewind live shows with the free Odyssey app.
Never miss your favorite sports talk again. To get started, download Odyssey and search for your station.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week and then receive free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Thanks to Awaken 180's at-home program, I dropped 8 pounds in my very first week. Eating to lose weight. Make a 180 with me and choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
On the Kansas side, 35 southbound still very heavy from South 7th Street traffic way. Just crawls down towards 18th Street Expressway with an accident still blocking the left lane. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome to your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let me update you on a couple of things that are happening in the National Football League. Russell Wilson, he is scheduling a visit, not a start. You got to get the job first to start. He is scheduling a visit with the Cleveland Browns. He also is scheduling one with the New York Giants. There are not a lot of teams left. There's not a lot of teams left that are looking for a quarterback. At this point, if you don't have your quarterback on March 12th, you are scraping the bottom of the barrel or you're waiting till the draft. It's that simple. There's really no in between. There's not many good ones left. It's Kirk Cousins potentially. It's Russell Wilson. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's guys that were really good when Madden was on Xbox 360. Those are the guys who are currently available on quarterback. Guys who were really good when you were still playing the PlayStation 2. Those guys are still available to play quarterback for you if you want to go get them, or you got to go get yourself a rookie. But if you're getting a millennial to play quarterback, it's over for you. I'm here to tell you that right now. You're cooked out here. Another thing that just came in, Aaron Rodgers is interested in the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Aaron, I'm going to give you this advice. And I know you're not going to listen to this advice, but I want to give you the advice anyway. You cannot go play for the Minnesota Vikings. It's not that Minnesota is not a good team. It's not that they're not a good organization. They are all of those things. You're just going to follow Brett Favre's career to a T? Just to a T. You want to know where Brett Favre left after he left Green Bay? He went to go play for the Jets. You want to know what team after he left the Jets, what team went to go play for? He went to go play for the Minnesota Vikings. You cannot go play for them. I know you've been hearing it your whole career how you've been in Brett Favre's shadow. I mean, since the day you got in, from the womb to the tomb, you've been in his shadow. You still want to be in it in your 40s? I can't do it. I don't want that for you. You're your own man. Please don't go play for them. Please go play for somebody else. Go play for the Steelers. Go play for the Giants. I don't want to see an Instagram reel that has the Favre and Rodgers Green Bay Packers jersey, then the Jets jersey, then the Vikings jersey. Go be your own man. You can't do that. You got to blaze your own trail. So Aaron Rodgers is interested in the Vikings, the Steelers, and the Giants. We are still waiting to see who wins washed wheel of fortune is where we at in the NFL free agency period. We are waiting to see where those two guys are going to land. A move did happen during the commercial break. The Broncos have signed Pro Bowl tight end Evan Ingram to a 2-year contract. I like that deal. I like Evan Ingram. I think Evan Ingram's a good signing. The Broncos have quietly put together a good, solid offseason. It hasn't really been sexy, hasn't really been trendy, but you know what? Going to get Evan Ingram, that's not a bad move. Now, last year he got banged up, and he is getting a 30, so usually you can start to get guys for the cheap a little bit, but when Evan Ingram is proven to be healthy, he's been pretty good. He only played 9 games last year, so just you were banged up, you weren't healthy. Let's see if he can get healthy. I don't mind that move. Let's see what the money looks like, but I can't imagine the money is too crazy for a 30-year-old that was hurt last year, signing a 2-year deal to go play for the Broncos. But you give Bo Nix a little over-the-middle option, a little tight end. I don't mind that move if you're the Denver Broncos. All right, this is what I want to get to, and we'll get back to basketball here coming up in a bit. So I saw this tweet from good friend of the show, Brandon Kiley, and he projects that this would be the Chiefs' wide receiver room. Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, a draft pick, Nico Remigio, and Sky Moore. As we sit here on March 12th at 3:22, do you think that Rob is, or do you think that Brandon is right? Do you think that BK is right? Hollywood, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, a rookie draft pick, didn't specify where, but a rookie draft pick, Nico Remigio, and Sky Moore. Is this it? Now, this is where I would do something different. I love the option of a rookie. I would love for the Chiefs to draft one more wide receiver and have their core of their offense be on rookie contracts from the skill position standpoint. I think there's going to be some good wide receivers in this draft class. I think there's going to be a couple of guys that can step in and have an impact for you. I don't really know why Sky Moore is on the team. And what I would do is move on from Sky Moore. I know it's going to cost you a bit amount of money. He's a second-round draft pick. He hasn't really been super productive. You don't want him on special teams. We're just not really sure what Nico Remigio's role is on this team. But if you were telling me, if I was running this, Hollywood, Rashee, Worthy, rookie, Nico's going to be your special teams guy, and then I would spend a little bit of money and get yourself a veteran. Now, you've missed a couple of the veterans that I would really like. I wanted DeMarcus Robinson on a cheap deal, and I would have taken Van Jefferson on a very cheap veteran deal as well. That's how I would do it. That obviously doesn't appear the way that they are going to do it. Do you think this is their wide receiver room as we are winding down free agency?
I think BK's right, but I don't think it's going to be a premium draft pick. So I think it's going to be, using this name makes it feel like they're going to pick a bad play. It's going to be more Cornell Powell as the rookie than I think it is Xavier Worthy. I think in the first 4 picks they have, which are in the first 3 rounds, they're going to address another offensive lineman because Jawan Taylor's going to get cut at the end of next season. These are in no order. They're going to do that. I think they are going to address pass rush multiple times, whether that be edge and or D-line. So that's another position off the board. And I think they're going to do running back in the first 3 rounds of the draft in April. So I think BK's correct, but when he says a rookie, I think people in their head think, ooh, another Rashee Rice type, maybe a Xavier Worthy type. Maybe they'll add, I know Sky Moore didn't work out, but another guy in that round, that'd be great. I think the rookie is going to be more 5th, 6th, 7th round. We found some hidden value. He's wide receiver 4 or 5. Let's develop him. Than it is a sexy draft pick. But I think BK's right because the veterans available are just they're blah, and the Chiefs don't like old. They don't like old.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And again, they've had a couple of chances to go get those wide receivers, and there still is a chance. There's still guys that are available. It's not completely dried up, but it is certainly drying up as we speak. The guys that you would get. This would be my small complaint. Now, I don't know what running back they're going to add to the team. Maybe they go add a Devin Neal, a DJ Giddens. They go add a Ollie Gordon, and that guy changes their offense. It sounds to me like their plan offensively is let's run it back for next year and hope that Rashee Rice is healthy. That's what it sounds to me for this upcoming season. I think their offense had some noticeable flaws last year. Now, one of those flaws were they didn't have a left tackle really in any capacity last year. Now that they have a left tackle. But I would say as of now, just where they are right now, I don't think their running back room is any better than it was at the end of the season. I don't think their wide receiver room is any different than it was before. For an offense that really struggled with explosiveness last year, where do you think the explosive plays are coming from? Now, if it is we're getting Rashee Rice back and you're telling me they're going to draft somebody that has 1,000 yards rushing, now you have that player with Pacheco. Now Elijah Mitchell is that third option and you figure some things out. Well, cool. But where does the explosiveness come from? Because as you see the Chiefs right now, they do not have an explosive running back room and they do not have an explosive tight end room. Their explosive plays, as we currently sit, are from the same places that they were last year. It's from Xavier Worthy continuing to grow and develop, and maybe you get more out of Hollywood than people expect. And again, you're waiting on a player, which we all know he's going to need some time coming back from an ACL injury, and also a guy that we all presume is going to be suspended at some time. I don't love their offensive skill position plan. This just feels like more of the same that they've done the last couple of years offensively, which is just a noticeable drop-off offensively from what I think you were used to. There was a time that we used to compare this offense to Golden State. Yeah, they're like Golden State now. You used to have Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Yeah, you still got Steph Curry. Now you got him playing with Buddy Hield. Now you got him playing with Jimmy Butler, who is still a good player, but he ain't the Jimmy Butler from 4 or 5 years ago. I don't love their offensive skill position plan, but admittedly, we are in the middle of it. Let's see if they go pick up another wide receiver. Let's also see what running back they get and how that guy looks early in his career.
Let me answer your question with a question. Because you ask, how is the offense different? Is the roster different? Like, right now, how different is the Chiefs roster that got walloped in the Super Bowl versus what's going to start or is projected to start on opening day? They have a new left tackle and a new left guard. And I guess they have a new safety because Justin Reed's gone. Other than that, it looks eerily similar. I know Amenahu's not back, but we both think they're adding a pass rusher. He seems to be in line with what they like. It wouldn't stun me if Amenahu comes back. I mean, look at week 1. They raised the banner. They beat the Ravens. I bet if you look at that starting lineup versus what the projected starting lineup is right now, there is an eerily similar amount of starters. So I hear what you're saying. I don't know, running the same offense back is a great plan, but I think that's their plan at the whole roster. They're not saying run it back like they did in 2020 because they were trying to win a back-to-back Super Bowl. But, man, the roster construction feels like we liked where we were last year. Let's do that again outside of one position.
Yeah, and I think that's really fair. I guess to me where I would say it's much more of a problem is it's much more of a problem on offense than defense. Last year defensively, they were 4th in the NFL at points given up. Their defense was top 5 last year. Their defense was really, really good. Their offense was not that last year at all. They weren't top 10 offensively last year, where they were top 5 on defense. In fact, looking at it, they were 14th in points scored last year. They were okay offensively. So I hear what you're saying on defense. I didn't really need them to make a lot of changes on defense. In fact, I like the direction they are going on defense. Now, they need to get another pass rusher. I don't think they're done, at least when it comes to the defensive line, but they didn't need to make significant changes at linebacker. They didn't need to make significant changes in the cornerback room. In fact, they're better at corner than they were last year. When it came to safety, you and I both knew they were moving on from Justin Reed. They moved on from Justin Reed. They got young guys that were playing well. We have all been prepared for Justin Reed not being on this team since you looked at his contract, the way that it was structured. The one thing I would say that their team was lacking last season, they have not done anything to try to change that. Last year, their offense was lacking explosive plays. And for a team that feels like they have the best quarterback in the National Football League, I'm sure if you ask everybody in the Chiefs, hey, do you think you have the best quarterback? Yes. Their quarterback last year threw for fewer than 4,000 yards and 26 touchdown passes. He did not have an elite passing year. In fact, you could argue from a sheer number standpoint, that's the worst version of Patrick Mahomes that we've seen. And that is the second year in a row we've been able to see that. Why is the plan more of the same on offense and not trying to find bigger plays and trying to generate offense like we did early on in his career?
This is not my opinion. I am taking the stance what I believe the Chiefs would tell you. I think they get that from Rashee Rice. I think if you had Brett Veach across the table from you and you asked him those questions, he was forced to tell the truth. He would tell you they get more explosive by having Rashee Rice healthy. He would tell you they get more explosive by having Isaiah Pacheco healthy, because as much as Pacheco was run down by fans at the end of the season last year, his 2 seasons previous, he was a 900-yard rusher. Like that, you take 900 yards at running back every day in the NFL. Is it super duper? No, but it's fine. I think if you were to strap Brett Veach into a lie detector, sit him across the way from you right now in the studio and say, how are they more explosive? He will tell you healthy Hollywood, healthy Rashee, healthy Pacheco, and then we add complementary pieces around that with Elijah Mitchell, maybe a drafted running back, to BK's point, maybe a drafted wide receiver. I think they are answering the question by saying health is the answer. I don't know it's a good answer, but I believe that's their strategy for how we get more explosive is we have Rick Burkhalter spend less time with these guys.
Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, how can there be explosive plays in the pass game when Pat has the ball 2 seconds or less to take off running? The line play was bad last year. That affected Pat. I'm going to ask this question. I don't have the answer to it. Are we sure that Jalen Moore is a better left tackle than Joe Thuney? I don't have the definitive answer to that, because all I'm saying is everybody is convinced that they are better at left tackle than they were in the Super Bowl. What is that based on?
Ask the next question, too. Are they better at left guard?
Well, no. That's a no. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's a
so,
no.
like, let's say they did upgrade at left tackle from Thuney to Moore. I mean, you don't know the answer.
Really quick, I want to be clear. I'm not saying they have or they have not improved at left tackle. I'm saying is they just have a different left tackle. I'm not entirely sure. I thought Joe Thuney was fine. Joe Thuney was certainly, if Joe Thuney transitioned over to left tackle right now, he would be one of the better left tackles in the National Football League. He would not be the best left tackle in the National Football League, but he certainly would be better than league average. I'm not sure what Jalen Moore is. I don't know how anybody can say they know what Jalen Moore is. He played 259 snaps last year for the Kansas City Chiefs. So maybe you are the same at left tackle that you were heading into the Super Bowl, which, okay, all right. I don't know if that was good enough, but yeah, you get the point that I'm saying. I'm just not entirely sure if they are better at the position than they were before. And that's why I'm saying is, all right, if we think they're going to have a comparable offensive line that they had for the Super Bowl, which I actually think they're going to have a very similar offensive line, then you got to have other plays and other players and other things to make it work on their team. And right now, their plan basically is we're getting Rashee Rice back.
That was my larger point about Suamataia. Let's say you work in the scouting department for the Chiefs, and you're like, hey, Jalen Moore is better than Joe Thuney left tackle, and your job is to know these things, so you're a definitive yes. I think if you ask that same person, they're noticeably worse at left guard. Like, Joe Thuney was a better left guard than Kingsley Suamataia will be. He just is. He's going to go to, so I think your left side in a best case scenario is a wash from the Super Bowl. Suamataia and Caliendo, maybe a wash. Jalen Moore versus Joe Thuney, maybe a wash. Maybe you advantage Moore, or their offensive line looks different on the left side, but I agree with you. There's no guarantee it's better. I don't know it's worse, though.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm not sure if their offensive line is going to be worse than it was in the Super Bowl. I'm also not entirely convinced that it is going to be much better than it was in the Super Bowl. Now, play calling can change. Some other things can change. But from a personnel standpoint, I think their offensive line is going to be fairly comparable to the one that they had last season. And we'll obviously see how it continues to operate. We'll get back to basketball coming up in just a little bit. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Flo Rida is coming to town. He's not going to Sandstone. He's not going to Starlight. He's not going to any of those places. He's going to be performing after a Royals game. So I believe the date is July 26th. Maybe I'm off just a couple of days. But he is going to be at Kauffman Stadium after a Royals and Guardians game. It's going to be a Saturday night. Take the kids out there, and you are going to be able to see Flo Rida perform all of his hits right there on the field at Kauffman. When you think about it, Kauffman has had some great performers. I was out there last year when they had DJ Diesel out there. He was out there playing all his music. They've had other concerts out there before. This time they're having Flo Rida out there. When I mention Flo Rida, is there a song that comes to your mind first? Like, let's say that you are sitting around with your friends. Let's say you're drinking. Let's say you're having a good time. And a pretty young thing came up to a 27-year-old Rob Britton and was like, "Ooh, Rob, you're cute. Hey, I really want to hear some Flo Rida. Can you play Flo Rida for me?" And then you try to yeah, okay, of course. And then you went to go set it up. What song are you playing in this situation? What Flo Rida is a 27-year-old Rob Britton playing?
Low. She had the apple bottom jeans, buddy. Boots with the fur.
Boots with the fur.
The whole club, they were looking at her. That's just a fact of life. When I think Flo Rida, the first song that comes into my head is Low. That song came out, 07, 08? Somewhere in that lane.
That was a great song.
That was junior, senior year Rob. That was as we were pivoting from 14, 15, 16-year-old. I was 17, 18. I was out doing stuff. I was, free from the coop a little bit, getting out to more parties, hanging out with more people, going to college, and Low by Flo Rida was everywhere. You could argue it was overplayed because it was, but everyone now knows the term apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur, and that's because Flo Rida's Low is the top of my head.
Someone on the text line said, "Is Flo Rida a Two Americas artist?" I actually don't think that Flo Rida. Now, let me be clear about what Flo Rida is. I think that Flo Rida makes music for a very specific kind of person. Drunk people. I don't think anybody has ever worked out to Flo Rida. Like if you were, about to go and you're about to pump out a quick set, I don't think you're turning on Welcome to My House. I also don't think that Flo Rida makes ride around in the car music. There are some artists that make ride around in the car music. There's some artists that they really want to make you think. There's some that making music to help you get through a breakup. There's some that you want to put on the sensual playlist. I think Flo Rida is making a song for a very specific American. Drunk. That's it. Hey, we're out here, we're having a good time, and all of a sudden, the club can't even handle me right now just comes on. You're like, oh my God, it can't handle me. You're right. That's what I think they're making songs for. You know the song that I actually like from Flo Rida? I like that, You Spin My Head Right. I actually kind of like that song.
Yeah,
I kind of do like that song. It's kind of catchy.
That's a great answer.
It's kind of catchy. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of like that song.
My House, You know what? Maybe we're saying the same thing. He makes club music.
Yeah.
If you're at Mosaic in 2014, you know what song you're hearing? Flow Rider.
Yeah, and everybody's happy. You've never been in a bad mood when you've heard Flow Rider. You've never been in a bad mood. You've had a good time. Nothing wrong with that. I'm cool with it. I'm telling you this. I can't wait to walk out of a 4-2 Royals loss and you're telling me I get a 4-2 Royals loss and I get a Flow Rider show? I mean, that's worth the price of admission. I've already put in the request. I want to be at that show. I absolutely want to hear It's Going Down. I'm yelling Tinder. I can't wait to hear that after a 7-1.
That's Pitbull.
That's Pitbull?
Timber is Kesha and
They
Pitbull.
ought to say Pitbull and Flow Rider are the same person to me. They make the same kind of music. You're sure? Tinder is Pitbull?
I'm 99% sure.
That seemed like the same person to me.
I'm looking it up. It's Timber by Kesha. I'm pretty sure that's Pitbull.
They got him on a remix. That's what they got.
I mean, if I were betting.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Song by Pitbull, Timber.
All right, well, I was listening to the remix. You didn't hear the remix. You didn't hear the DJ Khaled remix of Tinder. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be at the Flow Rider game. What was it, July 26th? We need to have 96.5 Day at the K out there for Flow Rider. I might actually go on the field for that game. You gonna be on the field?
I mean, I assume they'll have you on the field for Flow Rider.
I want to meet. Can we meet Flow Rider?
I'm stunned the amount of people that think Flow Rider is a two Americas.
Do you think Flow Rider listens to Flow Rider music?
I mean, probably get amped up for his own concert.
I will tell you this. He seems to have a really, really good life. You don't know anything about him. You don't know Flow Rider's real name. You don't know if he's married. You don't know if he has kids. You've never heard him on a podcast. We don't know anything about Flow Rider yet. You could probably name like 10 Flow Rider songs, even Tinder. See what I mean? You're giving him credit for songs he didn't even do. That's how popular Flow Rider is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This week, FanDuel is bringing you a Dog of the Day Profit Boost token. One of the best parts about the tourney is when an underdog takes down the powerhouse. And right now, those upsets can get even better. Because if your underdog bet wins, you'll land even more winnings with the Profit Boost. This is your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the ones that refuse to go quietly. So if you've been waiting to join FanDuel, then March is the perfect time to do so. The app is easy to use, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. All you need to do is visit FanDuel. Use my promo code KFNZ to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your Dog of the Day with the Profit Boost. Because after all, anything can happen in March. FanDuel, an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Spring may not officially be here until March 20th, but at Ryan Lawn & Tree, we've been preparing for spring all winter. This is Larry Ryan. Unlike companies that shut down for the season, our full-time Ryan pros train nonstop, studying the latest science to deliver even better results every year. No one brings more care and expertise to your lawn and landscape than a Ryan Pro in the Clean Red truck. Ryan Pros are full-time employee owners, many with degrees in horticulture and turf management. If you ever have a question or a special need, you never call an 800 number. You call your Ryan Pros mobile number and talk to an owner. Get your free lawn instant quote online. Just visit ryanlawn.com/spring and get started today. Sign up this month and take 50% off your first lawn application. Our 50% off spring offer is the only one that comes with a Ryan Pro. Visit ryanlawn.com/spring today.
Folks are always asking me about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see if you answered a yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Do you have trouble sleeping, walking, and doing day-to-day movements? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things you love because joint pain is holding you back? walking, golfing, jogging. If you answered yes to any of those, I bet you'd be a great candidate. So please don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now and ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on them.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Royals coverage sponsored by Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer and Jersey Mike's Month of Giving.
Join us in supporting Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer and Jersey Mike's Month of Giving. Visit any Casey, Topeka, or Lawrence Jersey Mike's and donate. You can also donate through the Jersey Mike's app. Help the fight against childhood cancer with Braden's Hope and Jersey Mike's.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
There's an exit closed southbound 635 to Schwartz Road. Got to use an alternate route there. On the south side of town, there's a stalled car westbound 435 just past the State Line Road, and traffic heavy out of that 435 exchange on eastbound 70. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Patrick Mahomes joins CDOT every week during the season, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
You know what? I want to fix sports because sports are broken just a little bit. And I'll tell you what my fix is. But before we do that, let me remind you guys that the Big 12 tournament coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by KRT Muscle Cream. A body in motion stays in motion with KRT Muscle Cream. Rob, do we actually get to use some of this product? Because I could probably use some for my shoulder. I'm here telling you right now that I'm starting to feel the effects of I am a presidential cycle away from 40. And I've had a good run. My 20s were great. 30s are going just fine. I am starting to feel some of the effects. You know how one night you just sleep wrong on your shoulder and, you know, you feel like you might go on the 10-day disabled list. I could use some KRT muscle cream, so if you know who to reach out to, let's make sure that we get it. I also want to remind you that the Big 12 scoreboard update is brought to you by PAL Exterior KC. For siding, windows, deck, and more, it has to be PAL Exterior Kansas City and palkc.com. Give us the scores, Rob.
Right now in the Big 12 tournament, earlier today, Iowa State won by a lot over Cincinnati. Cincinnati looking squarely at the bubble. And maybe the surprise of the day, right now, West Virginia and Colorado, a game no one's at, is tied at 46.
Why you gotta say nobody at the game?
You think West Virginia and 16-seed Colorado are packing the T-Mobile Center?
I think it's packed to the brim.
Right now, Power and Light has more people than the arena because Iowa State fans are drinking.
I don't know. I think it's packed to the gills. I think you would think Garth Brooks is performing right now at the T-Mobile Center if you walked in there.
This is the Colorado basketball team. No Shador, no Travis Hunter, no Dion.
They got Travis Hunter playing at the 3. If they got Travis Hunter playing at the 3, you know what? I would have taken off. I would have went to the game if you were telling me that Travis Hunter was going to be playing today. All right, this is something that I think that leagues have a little bit backwards. Everybody is in the business now of trying to expand the postseason. The NBA, they've now made it with the play-in, and they've tried to give more teams a chance to make the postseason. They are talking about expanding the NCAA tournament and going from 68 to 76 teams. We got to put more teams into the postseason. Okay, that's one way of doing it. But how about trying it my way? Why don't we make it harder to make the postseason? And since there is a greater inventory of regular season games, why don't we try to increase the importance of those games? This would be my strategy. Everybody doesn't need to come to Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament. We're having basketball games simply for the sake of playing basketball games. And don't get me wrong, I love basketball games, but I'm sorry, Colorado, you have done absolutely nothing to advance your season. Cincinnati, you were 18-15. You went 7-13 in the Big 12. Why did you even get on a plane to come to Kansas City? Hopefully you ate good while you were here. You came to Kansas City. You got beat 76-56. You lose. Good day, sir. Why were you even here? Why does every team get invited to the Big 12 tournament? No. Start making it where let's enhance the regular season by we're only sending 8 of you to Kansas City. All of you can't go. Iowa State, sure, you can go. Houston, you can go. KU, you can go. All of you are not eligible for the Big 12 tournament. We're only taking 8. And if you're a team that's on the bubble, if you're in Arkansas, if you're a team that desperately needs to win, not qualifying for the SEC tournament would enhance the regular season games. There's a lot more of those than there are of the postseason. Now, sure, it's about winning a championship, and those games you're playing for something, I get it. But there's stops along the way. You could enhance the regular season by making you play for something in February. This game is really important to seeding. This could mean that we go to Kansas City or Nashville, or you go to the Big East tournament or not, especially if you're going to have these conference tournaments where 16 teams are in them. We don't let everybody in the AFC make the playoffs, do we? No, everybody from the AFC doesn't make the playoffs. There's 16 teams. Only 7 of you get the opportunity to advance. The rest of you are not good enough. So you don't get to go. Why do we have a system that everybody in your conference qualifies for the playoff? No, you don't qualify for the playoff. So if you want to make college basketball a more entertaining product, instead of rewarding more mediocrity, and we're arguing that Cincinnati is on the bubble, even though they're 18-15 and went 7-13 in a down Big 12 and just got molly-whopped right in front of Pizza Bar. Why not make it where Cincinnati, you're eliminated. You came in 11th place in the Big 12. You did not qualify for it. We're not going to give you a chance for more bubble wins. And to pad your stat, you have played 33 games this season. We've seen enough of you. Please get away from us. That would be my plan to improve college basketball's regular season. Let's make the games in February mean more.
I also think if we took your fix, which I am a proponent of, I think we would find ourselves with more group of 5 mid-major teams in the tournament, which would be good. I'm tired of Cincinnati's going to catch the stray here. Cincinnati's in Gillinardi's next 4 out. They shouldn't get another chance at a quality win that gets them in the tournament. Oh, well, now, if Cincinnati had won today, there would be bracketologists who had them in the field of 68. Why? You were the 14th seed, the 14th best team in the Big 12. You're out. I'm sorry, you lose. Maybe that means that both St. Mary's and Gonzaga can get in. Maybe that means if San Diego loses their conference tournament, them and UC Irvine can be in. Maybe Drake and Bradley can get in if we don't create extra games for bubble teams like Georgia Tech to get a bonus quad 1 win. No, You stunk in February. You were no good in November. Sorry, you don't get to come to the conference tournament. And you know what? It would make the conference tournaments better because you know what sucks? Tuesday. Do you know who I joke about no one being in the game right now between West Virginia and Colorado? They have no one last night.
We have 2 days of fluff now in the Big 12 tournament. That's what it is. It's 2 days of fluff. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, did you forget about NC State in 1983? I don't think that's the example that you want to make. I just did a quick Google search. NC State that year went 26-10. They were fourth in the ACC, and they won the national championship. That was a legitimately good team. That was a good team. Someone else says, hey, CDOT, what about teams that have injuries and have players that can make it back for the tournament? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At some point, there has to be a cutoff. There has to be a cutoff. I'm not listening to anybody. Like, you guys don't feel bad in the NFL when this happens. Teams lose their starting quarterback and miss the playoffs. You guys are like, oh, well, I mean, now Baltimore has Lamar Jackson back. Maybe we should let him in. No, you didn't win enough games. I don't know why we have reached this point in sports that we're afraid to tell people you weren't good enough to do something. In the SEC, there are 16 teams. You need to finish in the upper half to qualify for the tournament. Why should you make the tournament if you're the 14th best team in this? You aren't just everybody gets to make it. You don't got to do anything. Just be in the conference. You still get a chance to make the tournament. No, that's not how it should be. If we're counting this as a playoff, then let's tighten up the rules and it would enhance the regular season. I don't know why. I don't know why we hate the regular season of sports so much. I don't get it. We just don't want them to have any more urgency or importance. We just want to, instead of shrinking it, we want to expand the playoffs. No, I want to make the regular season really, really matter. I think we should cut a lot of this stuff in half. There's no reason why 20 of the 30 NBA teams should have a chance to make the postseason. Bro, y'all been playing basketball since Halloween. It's Memorial Day. We know you're not good. Why are you here? It would make the regular season better if we didn't let everybody compete in the postseason. The fact that Arkansas still has a chance to make the NCAA tournament is crazy. It is crazy. It doesn't make sense to me. Let's get back to talking about football. Free agency is coming in hot and heavy. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic brought to you by KRT Muscle Cream. Looking at heavy traffic into downtown, northbound 35. Southbound 71, also very heavy after MLK. Got a stalled car, stopping traffic, eastbound 50 highway, the exit to Chipman Road on the Metro's southeast side. A body in motion stays in motion until you feel that first muscle tighten. KRT helps you get back in action with all natural pain relief in just minutes. Learn more at krtrelief.com. That's krtrelief.com.
From fast breaks to buzzer beaters to block parties, there's nothing as exciting as basketball. With Underdog, you can bring that excitement to wherever you watch. Playing on their app is as easy as choosing higher or lower on player stats like threes made, points, rebounds, and so much more. I love the Underdog app. So get those selections right, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. It's so much fun. Millions of fans have won over billions on Underdog. Will you be the next? It's simple to join the fun. Join in by signing up for the Underdog app today using promo code BOB, and you'll get a free selection as part of your first cash entry, plus up to 1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-518-3899. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-518-3899. That's 800-518-3899. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Zero, like in 0% financing. Zero is back. Up to 0% financing on select 2024 and 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we're 2024 Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. 0% event. The Subaru A Lot to Love event at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on Google Analytics.
Hi folks, Blaine. Here's something new from Smithville Ford, a free lifetime warranty. A free lifetime powertrain warranty with every new purchase. That includes 24-hour, 7 days a week, every day of the year for 10 years roadside assistance. Pretty much, we've got your back. We're talking towing, fuel, oil, water delivery to you, lockout assistance, battery service, flat tire support, and emergency assistance. I know. Where else would you go to buy your next vehicle, right? SmithvilleFord.com.
It's March matchup season at BetMGM. Ready to shoot your shot? Lock in your picks for this year's tournament with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Being on the sidelines is one thing. This March, get into the game with exciting state-of-the-art live tracking technology, exclusive sportsbook selections, and so much more. Check out BetMGM Originals for dozens of markets you won't find anywhere else. Take a shot at our exciting free-to-play games for your chance at scoring odds boost tokens, bonus bets, and many other prizes. Plus, new players can score up to $1,500 in bonus bets if their first bet loses. From the big dogs to the underdogs, March matchups at BetMGM is a player's best friend. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. First bet offers for new customers only. All other promotions for existing customers. Subject to eligibility requirements and rewards may vary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Choose Syntec full synthetic motor oil designed for today's engines exclusively at your O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Vern. Catch me every day with Cody and Gold at 12:45 for a live update from Arizona as I'm with the boys in blue at spring training. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 965thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. We have so much to get into. We only have 1 hour left of the show today. We get off a little bit earlier. K-State, they won yesterday. They advanced. They play Baylor coming up in a couple of hours. Good luck to the Wildcats. Hopefully they win today. All right, this is what I want to do. Let's take a quick trip, Rob, around the National Football League. We'll get back to the Chiefs coming up in just a bit, but there were about 5 or 6 quarterback moves that we really didn't get a chance to get into yesterday. Why don't we do it today? Why don't we take a trip around the NFL and wrap up all the quarterback moves that have happened so far in free agency?
Carrington, let's start with chronological order. That's how we'll do it for quarterbacks. Let's start with the move that happened over the weekend, or I guess Friday evening. Geno Smith is no longer in Seattle. He was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. Carrington, we argued back and forth before free agency started. What would the veteran option the Raiders pursue be? We now know it's Geno Smith. Do you like the move for the Raiders? They have their stopgap quarterback.
Yeah, I actually think Geno's a little bit better than that. I think that Geno is a pretty productive quarterback. I do think that he gives them a measure of stability at the position that they haven't had. I think Geno is a fine option, and I like the contract. It also makes sense to me if you are Pete Carroll and you are looking to solve one of your biggest problems on the team, you're going to go with what you know, or you're going to go with the proven quarterback with Geno Smith. I'm maybe more interested when it comes to Las Vegas about what this means for Shedeur Sanders, because there are a couple of teams that I thought made a lot of sense to go get him. The Raiders were a team. We know the relationship between Brady and his family. The Jets were a team that also made a lot of sense. I'm assuming we're going to talk about them with Justin Fields and what they're going to do at quarterback. If Shadeur's not going to go to the Raiders or the Jets, where is he going to go and how far down in the draft is he going to go? Now, I don't think that getting Geno completely removes you from the Shedeur conversation, and we could be talking about part 2 of what we saw last year in Atlanta, but I'm much more intrigued about when it comes to Las Vegas, what this means for their future, and if they are now 100% out of drafting Shedeur Sanders, or if they're just going to have their version of Kirk Cousins start this year and have Michael Penix waiting in the wing.
Well, now that Geno Smith is out of Seattle, we knew a domino would fall, and that domino was Sam Darnold is now a Seattle Seahawk. He gets a big contract, or at least it looks big on paper. Carrington, do you like the deal for Darnold heading to Seattle?
This is my question. Is there really a difference between Geno Smith and Sam Darnold? I mean, if you're Seattle and you made the move to get rid of Geno to then sign Sam Darnold, are you in or better off? Now, sure, he is a younger quarterback. I'm not entirely sure that Sam Darnold is actually better than Geno Smith, especially if you're going to take him out of what is an ideal situation offensively, I think, for him in Minnesota. But you can't be mad at this move because this is what it costs to have competent quarterback play in the league. I understand the sticker shock when you see, oh my goodness, Sam Darnold got $40 million a year. Well, I would go off this. There have been 20 veteran quarterbacks that have been paid in the National Football League. Sam Darnold is 18th now in quarterback salary. Now, there are some rookie quarterback deals on there, like Caleb Williams hasn't been paid, C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels, etc. I think you guys understand the point. Of the guys that have received that second deal, that's where he is. You're not spending a whole lot of money on Sam Darnold. This is essentially a 2-year contract to see if he has anything, and then you might find yourself in the exact same situation again. So that is a good contract for a good player. I'm just not really sure if it is an improvement over what you had last season with Geno Smith.
Sticking with quarterbacks going to new places and maybe a lot more of the same is the theme. Justin Fields is now a New York Jet. They have their, I guess, starting quarterback. That's what they're calling it.
I gotta say it like that.
I don't know that Justin Fields.
You're not sure?
Is he a starting quality quarterback in the NFL?
Yes, he's a starting caliber quarterback. I didn't say he was a high end.
I'm going to say, are they tanking without tanking?
I didn't even say that he was a mid-tier. If you were going to have Justin Fields as your starting quarterback for this upcoming season, you're interested in getting a top 10 pick. I don't think that you'll be the worst team in the league with Justin Fields as your starting quarterback. You ain't making the playoffs with Justin Fields as your starting quarterback. In the AFC, you're telling me in the same conference with Mahomes and Allen and Burrow and all of the guys in the AFC, you think that Justin Fields is your answer at QB? Well, okay. Well, good luck to the Jets. I mean, just given you guys history and track record, I'm sure that it's going to work out, but I don't want any parts of it. Now, you got him for the cheap. He's making $20 million a year. This is a nothing contract. But if you're Justin Fields, I will say this. It was looking kind of bad for you there for a while. You kept your head down. You played well in the limited opportunities that you got last year with Pittsburgh. You have now been given another chance. If you ball out, then you can get the Baker Mayfield deal. You can go get the Sam Darnold deal. You have been given another chance at a big payday as a National Football League quarterback and another chance to start. So hopefully you make the most of the deal. If anything, I want to see a team really open up and really let Justin Fields play. He should be one of the more mobile running quarterbacks in the league. You should be treating him like he was Colin Kaepernick back in 2012. You should be running the ball, RPO, letting them sling it around the field. You should be doing all of those things. Something tells me that is not what the Jets will do, and they'll win 5 games this year, and we won't really pay that much attention to him.
I'm just saying Justin Fields is the path to Arch Manning. That's what it feels like. Speaking of quarterbacks,
I don't think the Jets are getting the number 1 overall pick. Like, if you're asking me right now to lay a wager on the Jets to get the number 1 overall pick, I'm guessing they're like plus 800. I mean, they're in the conversation. Don't get me wrong. But if I had to guess right now, the Jets probably get like the 6th overall pick next season. Somewhere about where they were this year.
That's probably about fair. Speaking of quarterbacks who are bad in New York, Daniel Jones has a new home. He is now in Indianapolis, and the quarterback battle is on.
I actually like this move.
Is he the starter in Indianapolis over Anthony Richardson?
He is a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson, is not a question to me. Now, are you going to go with the first-round pick that you spent the top 5 pick on, and that guy, he is the favorite going into the conversation? Sure, that is definitely a possibility. But if you were asking me for this upcoming season, if Daniel Jones started 17 games and Anthony Richardson started 17 games, what quarterback gives you a greater chance of making the playoffs and or winning more games? I think it's Daniel Jones, and I don't think that it's close. I think it's maybe closer athletically than people will think, because I think people have always kind of discredited Daniel Jones' athleticism for a very obvious reason to me. But I think that Daniel Jones is a pretty athletic quarterback. I think that he is fine. You're putting him now indoors and in a much better offensive situation with a much better offensive-minded head coach. I don't think that it's the worst situation for him. And if it is a true fair competition, I think that Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback week 1 for the Indianapolis Colts. He's certainly going to get a chance to start this year. Number one, Richardson ain't good enough to hold him off, and Richardson isn't going to stay healthy enough to hold him off. So Jones will get a handful of opportunities to start this season for the Colts.
I mean, Daniel Jones is sneaky athletic. I mean, Jim Rat, coach's son, he puts the work in, really.
I mean, he's always playing for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back.
That's what you got to like about Daniel Jones. Pocket savvy sometimes, too.
100%.
Carrington, the last quarterback move is a puzzling one. Make this make sense to me. The Falcons are expected to keep Kirk Cousins through their deadline over the weekend, which will pay him a roster bonus of $10 million. My question is simple. Huh?
I actually don't think this is that confusing. This is why I don't think it's that confusing. I don't really think they save a whole lot financially by just simply moving on from him. They're going to have a dead cap space of $65 million. They're going to have to absorb $20 million anyway, whether he's on or not on the roster. So you might as well just have him there just in case. Just in case. Kirk Cousins is not somebody that's going to cause a lot of noise. He's not going to be a distraction. It's also the National Football League where if you look throughout the league, what was it last year? 55 different quarterbacks got to start. Kirk Cousins will probably get a chance to start a couple of games because an injury will happen because football, it's a long, grueling game, and you got these guys playing 17 games in 18 weeks. Something usually goes wrong and you need somebody. But yeah, from a dead cap perspective, it's $65 million this season. If you let go of Kirk Cousins, you're not really helping yourself by releasing him or just keeping him on the roster. So just keep him. Just see what happens. Just keep him. So I do understand why they are keeping him. Let's continue to talk quarterback coming up on the other side. There's a couple of other moves. Aaron Rodgers is gallivanting around the NFL. Russell Wilson is also gallivanting around the league. We'll also get back to the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll talk about their moves. I do have a question. Text line 913-586-7965. If you had to use one word to describe DeAndre Hopkins' time in Kansas City, what word would you use? He recently signed with the Baltimore Ravens. I'll tell you my word. Rob will as well. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Guys, I've got big news. I finally decided to lose some weight and improve my health. So I kicked off things with Awaken 180 weight loss. Look, before I dive into the details, I'll tell you what you really want to know. After just 1 week, I'm already down 8 pounds. I mean, I knew the results were going to be quick, but 8 pounds? I'd heard about the Awaken 180 at-home program, and the premise sold me immediately. This is the layout. Eat to lose weight, no meds, no gym, no calorie counting. Plus, once I reach my goal, I'll get free support for life, which was really important to me. And in the past 10 years, Awaken 180 has helped over 800,000 clients achieve exactly what they're doing for me right now. Look, I researched other programs, thought about the meds, but Awaken 180 stood out to me as the clear winner. I chose right. I'm down 8 pounds in just 1 week. There's just no way I can argue with the results, and I don't think you would either. 8 pounds is a lot. Look, my coach is amazing. I'm sleeping better. My energy is through the roof, which I'm warning you about now. If you want results like mine, schedule your Awaken 180 at-home consultation today. Go to awaken180weightloss.com.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love. Because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Heartland Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Surely, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
This week, FanDuel is bringing you a Dog of the Day Profit Boost token. One of the best parts about the tourney is when an underdog takes down the powerhouse. So right now, those upsets can get even better. Because if your underdog bet wins, you'll land even more winnings with the profit boost. This is your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the ones that refuse to go quietly. So if you've been waiting to join FanDuel, then March is the perfect time to do so. The app is easy to use, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. All you need to do is visit FanDuel, use my promo code KFNZ to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your dog of the day with the profit boost. Because after all, anything can happen in March. FanDuel, an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Want a golf course quality lawn? It's easier and more affordable than you think with True Green. As the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, True Green brings pro-level expertise straight to your yard so your lawn can look like a fairway. Right now, you can sign up and get one free application. Plus, with their price match guarantee, you know you're getting the best value. And if you're not satisfied, True Green will come back to make it right. Don't wait. Visit TrueGreen.com today to get a free application and let the pros handle your lawn while you enjoy the results. Offer ends March 10th. Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Tonight, expect a low of 47 with partly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Money-back guarantees and parts and labor warranties mean you're not just buying products, you're securing your investment. For a limited time, receive a free furnace when you purchase an AC. Schedule a complimentary proposal online at anthonyphce.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A crash, southbound 35, just past 119th Street on the right shoulder. Seeing heavy traffic behind that there, and just before that, if you're northbound 35 at Johnson Drive, another two-car crash on the shoulder as well. But again, expect brake lights. Heavy into downtown, northbound 35, and out of the 435 70 exchange on eastbound 70. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Trent McDuffie. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. I do want to play some audio for you guys coming up in a bit. It seems like the Chiefs at least made an offer out to Ronnie Stanley. We'll see if it was competitive enough. Obviously, it wasn't because they didn't get him. But before we do that, you guys maybe missed it, but DeAndre Hopkins signed an off-season deal with the Ravens. He is going to go play for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm sure the Chiefs will see DeAndre Hopkins at some point down the line. This is my question. 913-586-7965. If you had to use one word to describe DeAndre Hopkins' time in Kansas City, what word would you use? The word that I would use is expected. This is maybe where I am a little bit different than you guys. And sometimes I think I get the rap of, oh, you just don't like that guy. No, it's not it at all. I felt this way about Travis Kelce, and I felt like I was very consistent when it came to Travis Kelce. And what I would say is maybe one of the hardest things for fans to deal with is when you are seeing an obvious decline in a good player. I felt like we've seen that with DeAndre Hopkins for the last couple of seasons. And I think usually fans can see it when it's players on other teams, and it's hard for them to see it when it's somebody that's on their own team. DeAndre Hopkins is at that point in his career where now he will have played for 4 different teams in the last 5 seasons. He has had one 1,000-yard season since COVID. He is a declining player. I think you always knew that the Chiefs were picking up a declining player. And what I always say is your window is never as open for as long as you think it's going to be as a team. And whenever you think a guy has like 18 more months left, no, he's really got like 5. And sometimes this can happen in the middle of a season. I'll give you an example of a player, Ben Roethlisberger. We saw Ben Roethlisberger change as the season progressed. I think that same thing happened with Kirk Cousins this season. The Kirk Cousins that played against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 2 was not the same Kirk Cousins that got benched later on in the season. I think you can't exactly pinpoint when it's going to happen. We all just know that it's going to happen. It's like that line from The Sopranos. You probably don't even see it coming. Everything just goes black. You go from being DeAndre Hopkins, who at the beginning of COVID had 115 catches for 1,400 yards and 6 touchdowns, and he is 28 years old. Fast forward a couple of years later, and you were clearly on your way out of the league. That is just how quickly things change. Leaving Arizona, he was a very desirable player. That wasn't that long ago. It was 2 years ago when he was a free agent. And you remember, he visited Tennessee. He visited New England. He visited Kansas City. They had been pursuing him for quite some time, and just the time is up. He had 41 catches, 437 yards. He had 4 touchdowns while he was here, and he was a non-factor in the postseason. I don't really know what more you could expect from DeAndre Hopkins. He was 32 years old, and he is at the clear end of his career. So the word that I would use is expected. I don't fault the Chiefs for making the move. I think they needed DeAndre Hopkins. I think they needed him at one point. They didn't have a whole lot of options at wide receiver. Once they lost Rashee Rice to an injury, they lost Hollywood Brown to an injury, and at that point, Xavier Worthy was not maybe developing in the way that you wanted him to develop. You needed somebody that you could rely on and depend on. And I thought DeAndre Hopkins, for probably the first 6 games he was in Kansas City, I think he was that reliable player. I think there was an expectation that there was going to be another ceiling and that he was going to be able to turn it on in the postseason. I don't think he has the physical ability to turn it on anymore for a team. If you're looking at the combine and you're looking at how fast these guys are, I don't think the D-Hop's running past anybody anymore at this stage in his career. Like, one thing we should start having guys do is you shouldn't just run the 40 when you're 22 years old. They should have you run the 40 again at 30-something years old. I'd love to see what D-Hop's 40 time is now. And if you're not running past anybody and you're not able to create separation, I just don't know how you're going to consistently be able to get open. And I think that has been one of the problems with the Chiefs offense the last couple of years. And I think that's something that Philadelphia just completely exploited this past year. I think they exploited the fact of we've got really good corners. We're going to be physical with these guys, and I just don't think they can get open. I don't think that Travis Kelce can run by you. I don't think that DeAndre Hopkins can run by you. I don't think that Juju can run by you at this stage in his career. We don't think they can do anything offensively. And I thought that Philadelphia, they have the right combination of people that they felt like they could bully Kansas City's offense, and they did. They bullied DeAndre Hopkins. They bullied everybody on that offense. They did the same thing to Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy had 15 yards receiving prior to the fourth quarter of that game. Now, he's a little guy, but I'm not mad at Xavier Worthy in any way. Just he did not really play that well in the Super Bowl, even though what the numbers say. I would use the word for expected with DeAndre Hopkins. I think he was expected.
We have a very similar word. Fine is fine. He's fine. But I think me and you were some of the few people in town that have relatively realistic expectations for what DeAndre Hopkins was. When they added him for what could have been a fourth, but ended up being a fifth-round pick. And he was a guy that we heard from Zach Bingham in Tennessee was dealing with a torn MCL all season. He'd been managing it, was the term he used. I thought he was going to be like a 400 to 500-yard guy who, at the time they added him, would solidify the position. And he did that. And then Xavier Worthy took a step forward, and they no longer needed him. Then Hollywood Brown came back, and they no longer needed him. So I think he was fine. Was he dynamic? No. But was he good enough for what they needed? Yes. They were not adding DeAndre Hopkins from 2013 or 2018 to their roster for a fifth-round pick. They were looking for a guy to get 400 yards and be a stabilizing force in their receiver room until the Worthy took the step or they got Hollywood Brown back. And he did those things. But you know what he looked like in the playoffs? A 30-plus-year-old wide receiver, which is what he was. I don't fault him for having his body mostly break down. I don't fault him for battling an injury and not being as effective. That's what the Chiefs knew they were buying, and that's what, as a Chiefs fan and someone who covers the team, I knew they were buying. They were not buying Houston Texans DeAndre Hopkins. So my word is fine, but
I don't even think they got Arizona Cardinals DeAndre Hopkins.
I agree, but I think me and you, our words are similar. I said fine. You said expected because we had the correct expectations. The text line is more frustrated with him than we are. I think that's because the text line thought they were adding a dog to the room, and he's just not a dog anymore. And that's fine, but I just think expectations may have changed what people thought about him throughout the season.
Yeah, and I just think for the most part, because someone says, C-Dot, I get what you're saying, but come on, you expected more than you got from D-Hop. I honestly, I didn't. I'm not playing the hindsight 2020 game. I wasn't expecting more. I think that the kind of receiver that D-Hop is, it's really hard to age well once you get past 30. One thing I think is undeniable about football, and this is where I think Brady, a couple of other players, I would say Travis Kelce in a way, they completely have shifted this thing. Man, football is usually best played by people between the ages of 23 and 28 years old. And once you get past that, the clock is moving really, really fast. It's hard to be a productive wide receiver in the NFL at 34 years old. Like, if we go back in time and let's look at the last 10, 15, 20 years, how many good wide receivers would we say in the league are that age? It's just going to be a really, really small number. And what D-Hop was really, really good at, he was never a burner. He was a big physical wide receiver that could create separation and had amazing hands. And as you get older and route running becomes much more of a premium and your body is not allowing you to do the same things and you're not able to get open, again, if you can't run past people anymore and you can't make those fast moves to do it, it's just going to be really hard for you to consistently get open. I think he's going to struggle next year in Baltimore, like even worse than in Kansas City. Your offense is drastically different. You're not playing in the same passing attack, and their focus offensively is different. That's why, to me, it's what are you counting on? What do you need DeAndre Hopkins to be? If you were bringing D-Hop in to be a veteran voice, to be a fourth, fifth receiver, a break in case of emergency type, and you're not relying on him for offense, I think you got a decent player. I think Kansas City, what they really needed for him was a game-changing player on third down. I don't think he can be that for any team in the National Football League anymore, physically. If you were counting on D-Hop to be your 3rd and 6 move the chains guy, I don't think he can be that for any team in the National Football League, and that's what I think some people wanted him to be whenever he got here. I just don't think that player exists anymore. This is the same thing that happened to Julio Jones. If you go look at Julio Jones at the end of his career in Atlanta, oddly enough, his time with Tampa Bay, his time with Tennessee, it is almost the exact same thing that happened to DeAndre Hopkins. This is DeAndre Hopkins last year in the league. Either this year or next year. He does not have too many more games left in his career.
I also think that's correct. But I also think as part of that, I don't want to say the Chiefs misused him. That's a poor term. But I think the Chiefs learned too late in the game that he doesn't have that anymore. Because remember, the first couple of games, he was getting open. There was that game against the Raiders. I know the Raiders stink, but he was getting open. He had some productive games in there. I believe it was the Bucs game. He was also productive on Monday Night Football. He had some, not eye-popping, not stellar, but some productive games. And I think over time, battling the injury, learning a new offense, whatever, his productivity dropped. And I think the Chiefs didn't realize the best way to use him is 3rd and 4, go box someone out and try to get 5 yards. They tried to use him the same way they use a Hollywood Brown, a Juju Smith-Schuster, a whoever. So I think in Baltimore, if it's fake an RPO, throw a fade to him, he can be relatively productive. But I think the Chiefs learned, he doesn't fit what we're doing anymore, as they learned he can't run past anyone anymore. Because the Chiefs' offense is based on getting open. We can complain about the preference of quick twitch 5-10 wideouts till we're blue in the face, which is what they like. But they like that because those guys get open fast. That's not what DeAndre Hopkins is. And I think by the time the Chiefs realized it, they just said, okay, we're kind of done with the experiment as opposed to trying to tinker and make it work for him.
Yeah, but this is where I think that fans are a little bit unrealistic because essentially what you're trying to tell me is you wanted him to be what people's ideal was for Jody Fortson. Hey, you can't really help us anywhere else on the field, but you know what? You're 6'5". We're just going to throw it up and go get it. Who is that guy in the National Football League? Like, that guy just doesn't really exist in the league. That's where I just think if you're telling me he can't help you in the middle of the field consistently, but now he can help you in the red zone, I just don't know if that's a really realistic option. Let's keep the Baltimore conversation going, at least how it relates to the Chiefs. So Baltimore went out and they got DeAndre Hopkins. They also kept Ronnie Stanley. The Chiefs really wanted Ronnie Stanley. Here's the latest with Albert Breer. The Chiefs did make an offer to the Ravens left tackle. Here's what it was.
So Ronnie Stanley, I think, as long as Baltimore was going to put something compelling in front of him, was going to stay. Kansas City was right there with them. So Kansas City and Baltimore were both at about 20. Washington and New England were both over 24. I'm not sure how far they went. Obviously, this stuff was spoken about conceptually, I guess is the best way to put it.
That's very.
But where the teams were, some free agency might have happened over the weekend.
Yeah, that's might have been illegal too.
Yeah, but they were over 24.
All right, this will be my question to the Chiefs. This is where I am. It's good that you made an offer to Ronnie Stanley. If you think he was the best left tackle that was available, that is the right thing to do. That's a very smart thing to do, to go make a move to go get Ronnie Stanley. If you weren't willing to outbid the Ravens, you wasted your time. You wasted your time. Now, yes, you might be thinking, well, the Chiefs are better than the Ravens. We're also talking about you've played in one organization for 9 years. Your family is there at this point. You're established. You got a house. You live in Baltimore. If a team is now going to convince you to move from where you've lived, the only organization that you've played with, you're probably going to need a better offer, not a comparable offer. If the Chiefs really wanted Ronnie Stanley, you would have had to offer him $22 to $24 million. It doesn't maybe have to be the best offer that's there because it is obvious that this was not purely a financial decision. Sure, you got the $20 million, but you didn't take the most money available. The Commanders offered you 22, according to Albert Breer, and the Patriots offered you $24 million. So you left money on the table to stay. Well, why did you stay? You love the scheme. You love your teammates. You love the organization. Now, maybe the Chiefs never had a chance at Ronnie Stanley, and we wasted our time talking about Ronnie Stanley, that he was not a realistic option for Kansas City, and they were always going to have to go in a different direction. And I certainly understand if you're the Chiefs and he's the best left tackle available and you have a needed left tackle, you trying to communicate and you trying to let them know, hey, we're interested. But if the two deals are on the table, I'm telling you that 95% of NFL players do what Ronnie Stanley did. You stay where you are, especially if where you are is a good organization. It's not like Ronnie Stanley chose to stay in Cleveland. It's not like Ronnie Stanley chose to stay in a team that has no chance of winning. You've played in AFC championship games. You've been to the postseason. You've won your division. You are on one of the better teams in the National Football League. I like my coaches. I like my teammates. I got a house. I got a family. I got a wife. I got a kid. I'm not moving unless I feel like the other offer is substantially better than the one that I have, and that's just not what the Chiefs offered. So Ronnie Stanley was just never a realistic option. We now have that information confirmed by Albert Breer. If you were only offering 20, you were never going to pull him away from where he's already been.
I don't know. I totally agree with that because the Chiefs don't know what the other teams are bidding. Like, $20 million is absolutely a competitive offer.
I think you kind of know sometimes. I'm with you. Maybe they didn't know every single thing,
Correct.
but we all know how this works and how information gets around. They knew that their offer was comparable to.
But that's the point of. That's why I say it's competitive. Yes, they didn't beat the Ravens' number, and they may have had information that the Ravens were going to be in and around this number. But it wasn't like the Chiefs lowballed. It wasn't like Albert Breer said, hey, the Ravens went to 20, the Patriots and Canaries went to 24, and the Chiefs were at 9. The Chiefs were at the exact same number as the Ravens. So I think they probably got word it's going to be around this number, and they said, this will be our number. And $20 million is a competitive offer and sounds like a big-time plan A offer. It does not sound like a, we'd like if we could get him type deal. It sounds like they were very interested and made a very competitive offer. Just Ronnie Stanley ended up with the exact same offer and took that from the Ravens.
Yeah, but to use the recruiting analogy, though, it doesn't matter if you came in second place. You lost. Doesn't matter. You made an offer to go get a 5-star recruit. Your package wasn't as good as this other team's package. Now, I think you got a 3-star with upward mobility in Jalen Moore. And ultimately, I think the Chiefs ended up making the right decision. If you were telling me that the two options were you offered Ronnie Stanley 4 for $80 or you offered Jalen Moore 2 for $30 and 21 guaranteed for the younger, healthier player, I think you ultimately made the right decision. But this sounds exactly like what they did with Trent Williams. They made an offer that was close to what San Francisco has, but, and I guess to keep the college analogy going, like NIL, if you got the big kid at KU,
Flory Badunga.
Flory, I'd never pronounced the kid's name correctly.
He's going to come back for a second year. You got to tighten that up.
Well, he didn't play well enough for me to know his name this past season. He wasn't good enough for me to know him. If I imagine other schools are offering him deals. Well, if you offer $200,000, and if Kansas is offering $200,000 and Kentucky is offering $200,000, he is staying at Kansas. If you want him to transfer, you need to offer more than that in NIL to really make it worth his while to leave Bill Self, to leave KU to go do that. So if you're trying to convince Ronnie Stanley and Trent Williams to leave good, solid organizations to join your team, you need to put together not a comparable package. You need to put a better package.
It's also my point was not to just defend Brett Veach blindly. I think they made a good. You're right. It's not the best package, but I would also tell you Ronnie Stanley didn't take the best package. Ronnie Stanley, if he was chasing the bag, is a Commander today or a Patriot today, because according to Albert Breer, they both offered 24. So the Chiefs probably offered the exact same as the Ravens, but the idea of you get to be on the Chiefs. We keep beating the Ravens. That's what we do over here. So Ronnie Stanley, for whatever reason, picked the Ravens. So it goes. I actually agree with you. I think the plan B worked out very good for the Chiefs. I think Jalen Moore is cheaper. There's a chance he could be better. The upside, you can get out after 1 year. There's a lot of reasons like the Jalen Moore deal. But I think this was as competitive as it gets because you matched the Ravens. It's a matter of what did Ronnie Stanley want more? Cohesiveness and staying where he's at, or to change it up. I think that was the big thing.
I will be interested. Maybe we'll never just get the information because he just wasn't that kind of prospect. I will be interested to see how many other teams were really in on Jalen Moore. Yeah. Because the only reason I bring it up is it is now clear that there were 4 other teams that were very aggressive at left tackle. That is now is not a question that was the case. The Commanders made a pretty significant move at left tackle. You would have to assume that Jalen Moore was a possibility there. They could have got Jalen Moore for a fraction of what they just used to go give up with Laramie Tunsil. They decided to go in that direction. The Ravens just made a decision at left tackle. Tennessee just made a decision at left tackle, and Kansas City. And I imagine there's a couple of other teams because Cam Robinson is still available. There's going to be 6 teams that were looking for a starting caliber left tackle to join their team. Kansas City was obviously one of them. I'll be interested if Washington was ever looking at Jalen Moore. Again, maybe we'll never get that information because they ended up answering it and they ended up taking a big swing for Laramie Tunsil. I will be interested to find out how many teams were bidding for Jalen Moore and what was the Chiefs' offer compared to other teams that were in that same boat.
I like Jalen Moore, the player, the idea of the player. I do not mean this as an insult to him. He is not a big enough name we're ever going to get that information. Like, you want to know why Albert Breer has a story on Ronnie Stanley? It's because 4 teams were bidding $20+ million for his services. You know how we know that story about Trent Williams? He might be the best left tackle of the current era in the NFL. Like, I'm sure if name an elite quarterback somehow got into free agency, we'd know who everyone was bidding and we'd know the number everywhere because there's so much information flying around. No offense to Jalen Moore, he is not a big enough name that I think we'll ever have that information. I'd love to know too, but I just don't think the now starting left tackle of the Chiefs, who was the backup left tackle for the Niners, is a big enough name for Albert Breer to track down how many people are offering and what. I just think that news never comes out.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me because at least maybe this, like looking at it through the cynic, it seems like such an obvious decision to me to make that I'm surprised that the other teams, now other than Baltimore kept their left tackle. But if you're the Commanders, wouldn't it have been better for you to, especially because Laramie Tunsil was the left tackle on a bad offensive line. Washington would be in a better situation if they had done what Kansas City had done. They'd have more draft picks and more cap space, right? If the Commanders don't make the Laramie Tunsil trade and they offer this deal, that seems like a better spot. You now have the draft picks. You can now shore up other things on your roster. He's 27 years old. He gives you more upward mobility. Like, of all the teams that made decisions at left tackle, I think that the Chiefs ended up ultimately making the best one. I'd rather have Jalen Moore than any of the other 4 options that were out there. He is the best of the options. So the whole, I guess, how you pick them, who you wanted, it's interesting to me. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll hand things off to K-State. They have a game coming up later today against Baylor. Spring is here. So is the Big 12 tournament. Keep right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This week, FanDuel is bringing you a Dog of the Day Profit Boost token. One of the best parts about the tourney is when an underdog takes down the powerhouse. And right now, those upsets can get even better because if your underdog bet wins, you'll land even more winnings with a profit boost. This is your chance to ride with the long shots, the scrappy teams, the ones that refuse to go quietly. So if you've been waiting to join FanDuel, then March is the perfect time to do so. The app is easy to use, and when you win, you'll get paid instantly. All you need to do is visit FanDuel, use my promo code KFNZ to download America's #1 sportsbook today and back your Dog of the Day with the profit boost. Because after all, anything can happen in March. FanDuel, an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Wager of at least plus 100 odds required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Spring break travel plans? Park & Go makes airport parking easy. Open 24/7 with all covered spots. Rain or shine, your car's protected. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned, customer approved.
Hey guys, I'm here with Paige, a new friend and the owner at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Paige, after 10 years, what continues to inspire you?
It's so inspiring to hear people change their lives and to be a part of that every day. The more people who can transform their lives and feel better and be more confident and be happier and see that change come through in every aspect of their life, not just in their weight or how they look or the clothes that they wear, but in their career and in their family and how they inspire their kids. That's why we do this.
Thanks, Paige. Changing lives without medication, the gym, or fasting. If you're ready to make a 180 with your health, do what I did and choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, proven weight loss, and keep it off thanks to that free support for life. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Royals coverage sponsored by Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer and Jersey Mike's Month of Giving.
Join us in supporting Braden's Hope for Childhood Cancer and Jersey Mike's Month of Giving. Visit any Casey, Topeka, or Lawrence Jersey Mike's and donate. You can also donate through the Jersey Mike's app. Help the fight against childhood cancer with Braden's Hope and Jersey Mike's.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic brought to you by KRT Muscle Cream. A stalled car closing the right lane eastbound 70 at the Blue Ridge cutoff, contributing to those delays eastbound 70 over the 435 exchange. Heavy into downtown, northbound 35. Back to the state line. Also got some emergency vehicles on the Metro Southwest side. Southbound 35 just past 119th Street, and a now crash. Just reported 150 highway eastbound just past Prospect Avenue. That is closing the right lane. A body in motion stays in motion until you feel that first muscle tighten. KRT helps you get back into action with all natural pain relief in just minutes. Learn more at krtrelief.com, krtrelief.com. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Lori Pearson, KMBZ Traffic.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
It really feels like spring is here. I look outside. The weather is beautiful. Took the little one to the park yesterday. Kids out playing. People walking their dog, running. It just feels like spring is here. The Big 12 tournament is in town. KU plays later tonight. K-State plays later tonight. We're going to have some high-quality basketball action down at T-Mobile Center. It does feel like spring is here. This is going to be a very busy next 3 weeks. We have the Big 12 tournament this week. We have the NCAA tournament next week. And then the week after that is opening day. A very busy March here on 96.5 The Fan. Are you excited for the Big 12 tournament? Maybe I'm hating a little bit, and I can live with this. I'm hating a little bit. It doesn't feel the same. It's not even a Missouri point. At this point, half of the teams that are in the Big 12, they're nowhere near here. Part of what made the Big 8 tournament and the Big 12 tournament cool was you felt like you got a little bit from everybody, you know? A little bit of Iowa State, a little bit of Mizzou, a little Nebraska. It felt very regional. It was like a Midwest convention. Now you got Utah and Arizona and West Virginia and UCF. Just a lot of schools. Arizona State? Why would Arizona State bring anybody to this? You got to sit there and you got to watch Colorado, Arizona State. That doesn't sound like a very good basketball tournament. The same thing happened to the Big 12 that happened to the Big East. I can't even tell you who's in the Big East. I can tell you Marquette and St. John. I couldn't tell you anybody else. Isn't Butler in the Big East now? How's Butler in the Big East? It's in Indiana. How is Butler
Creighton's
in the Big East
too?
That doesn't make sense. Creighton's in Omaha, Nebraska. How are they in the Big East?
By the way, not to pivot away here real quick, a little bit of, I'm not going to put the breaking news sounder, but Annie Rogers is saying, she covers the Kansas City Royals for MLB.com, that Bobby Witt Jr. exited the game earlier today after being hit on the left hand / wrist area.
I'm happy you didn't play the breaking news sounder for that. I don't know if that would have been fitting.
I mean, we'll wait for more information, but the best player on the Royals took a pitch off the hand today and had to leave a game.
Is that all the information that we
That's
got?
all the information we have at this point.
Okay. I don't want to speculate about anything.
Never great to see the best player leaving a game.
It doesn't. Your breaking news sounder doesn't sound great. I mean, best case scenario, he's out for, I would assume best case scenario is he is done for the rest of spring training. Worst case scenario is he's out for months.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is really bad for the Royals.
Okay. Can I give you some good news?
Please do. Colorado won today. That's good news. If you're a Houston fan, you get to watch a win tomorrow.
Okay, well, I wasn't. I don't think they were worried about any of the possible teams. The Chiefs are in line to get a 6th-round compensatory pick due to DeAndre Hopkins signing with the Baltimore Ravens. So they traded a 5th-round pick. They might end up getting a 6th-round pick back in exchange if you look at the way the formula and all that stuff kind of cancels itself out. So look at that. It really didn't cost you much to go out there and get DeAndre Hopkins. A couple of bucks, and it cost you 45 spots in the NFL draft. It's not that bad. You can live with that. Not bad at all. So look at that. That's positive news. You got any more positive news? Since you want to chime in with Bobby Witt Jr. might be hurt.
I mean, I feel like news is news. I mean, if you want more random news, A.J. Dillon is an Eagle.
Okay.
They got the biggest quads in the history of running back ever between Saquon Barkley and A.J. Dillon.
Okay, well, I don't want to freak you guys out about Bobby Witt Jr. because we don't have yet a lot of information about Bobby Witt Jr. All we know is that Bobby Witt Jr. was hit on the hand today during spring training. I don't know anything else. I don't know if anything is broke. I don't know his reaction. I haven't even seen a video of him being hit. I just know that he's been hit. That's all I know. So hopefully he is fine. I think we all want the exact same thing here. Even if you're not a Royals fan, you still want the same thing. We all want Bobby Witt Jr. to be 100% fine. I'm guessing at some point in the next couple of hours, we will get a very concrete plan or information on what Bobby Witt Jr. is. And my plan would be, hey, spring training's on. I'm sorry. You're too valuable to us and to Major League Baseball. We can figure out your timing in the early part of the season. We'll just get you some simulated games. You're done. You're done with spring training would be my message to Bobby Wood Jr. So before we get out of here, Rob, is there anything else?
Kansas got a big one tonight against UCF, buddy.
Someone on the text line said it's 6'10" reporting Bobby Witt's out for the season. No. I did not say
We're
that
not
at
saying
all.
that at all.
I didn't say that at all. I didn't even misspeak. I didn't say that not even a little bit. I don't know. That's not at all what I said. I said, given what we know, it could be any range of outcome. So I don't even want to speculate on Bobby Witt Jr. I don't know is the answer I gave. All right. I had a lot of fun today. Hopefully you did as well. Go KU. Go K-State. Big 12 tournament. It's here in Kansas City. Keep it right here. It's 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember,